Today, Aid will bring you a life full of excitement from the way a tiger butterfly lives, a meaningless life that loves to touch the dazzling, frivolous halo. With the bright lights on the roadside being a powerful source of life, the beautiful butterfly will dive into the dim white light. This young man is in the prime of his youth, the age when, after exams, you'll chat with friends about where to hang out or whose place to party all night long, and he usually hangs out with kids rich enough to go yachting on a whim. He looks bright and has a certain charm, but that terrible score was the complete opposite. The tiger moth resting there like a moth to a flame only made everything worse to the extreme. He found it too bad. His name is Dong-gut. His mother sells fish and vegetables at the market, and she has no idea that her son is a liar. And he hated the fishy smell coming from his mother. But she always considers her son as number one when he constantly changes his grades to show off to his mother. She cared for him and gave him the best things. Today, just like usual, Dong-gut tried to find a reason to ask his mom for money, like buying textbooks, for example. The cost he needs is 10,000 kwon, while this mother works hard in the fish trade. She kept trying to squeeze out everything she had. That is all she could do to ensure her son wouldn't be at a disadvantage. Whatever she did, she wanted to give everything for her son. If his entry score is really high, he would feel less guilty towards his mom, but that entry score is absolutely terrible. To the point where he couldn't hear anything from the surrounding sounds. News suddenly aired rumors about actor Chung Seot, who owns numerous plots of land and villas. He said in the past he was very poor. It made Dong-gut feel a bit shaken deep inside. He submitted the application. At first he didn't think about becoming an actor. But he truly went to Cat Tin, just because Dong-gut was jealous of the glamorous life. The instructor once told him that acting is an innate talent, but inner ability is what truly matters. And the place she is referring to is Handong University, where every student can realize how talented they truly are. Dong-gut envies the actors living in luxury apartments, and that's why he applied, but his score wasn't enough, so he could only get into the Department of Theater and Film. The instructor handed him a C-type script and suggested making the underlined lines in the script more lively to test his abilities. The script he was holding was about a murderer who had planned everything and had a sarcastic attitude. Moreover, killing people to him is as normal as eating and drinking every day. This is a person without a moment's hesitation. He never thought he could be like that. It was just a short line while reading the script, but Dong-gut realized he naturally resembled that character. He wanted to become a famous actor. After many years he realized that, living like an actor, Dong-gut was criticized for looking too old for a rookie, which annoyed everyone in the group. The fact that there are people in this world whose talent shines like the sun. Compared to them, Dong-gut's talent is as weak as a firefly. But he didn't give up. He was always the one who tried the hardest in the group to make up for it. He will do anything to succeed. While everyone else is dining at a restaurant, he is hesitating between eating gimbap or going hungry to pack up for the next filming location. Right then the phone rang. It's Mom calling. He ignored the call. Just as fate would have it, the director showed up and handed Dong-gut an offer even more tempting than his mom's call, a supporting role in a movie. He didn't expect this chance to come. Despite the significance of the role, whether it's a show or a drama, even if the film ends tragically, he still plays it. However, Dong-gut remains a mediocre actor who receives no recognition and has no choice but to make a living. He's been working part-time while filming, so his health has deteriorated to the point where his co-workers don't want him around anymore. He did many jobs at the same time while still having to learn lines. No matter how difficult it gets, he simply can't give up. Thanks to this, Dong-gut earned a nickname that's straightforward and easy to understand. A crazy guy obsessed with acting. The final knot is finally under the spotlight, and the reward is the first Supporting Actor of the Year award. He finally did it. After reaching the high-rise tower like other shining actors, he felt uneasy when he received a call from his mother. She hinted at wanting to visit, but this is the biggest inconvenience in Dong-gut's acting career. He now has a house overlooking the Han River as he wished, so whether she comes to apologize, like when she only sent a congratulatory envelope at his graduation, no longer matters. He has become a famous actor and reached the peak of his glory. Life wasn't boring, at least not until now, that is until he got this call. At the brightest milestone of my life from Dongdo Hospital. When Dong-gut arrived at the hospital, his mother was already lying in bed. She looked gaunt and lifeless, as if all her vitality had drained away. He saw a mother older than the one he remembered. Her hands trembled. It's really not a good point in Dong-gut's life. Only then did he realize that what he wanted to erase was poverty. Not his mother's face, Dong-gut. He felt like a scumbag himself. The mother of actor Dong-gut passed away before seeing her son one last time. He kept regretting. He didn't visit his mother even after she passed away, and at Han River View, he worked day and night to climb up. He will surely die and go to hell. At least that's the price he has to pay for that brilliant aura. The knot tightens like a tiger moth rushing into dazzling artificial lights, and the end is always the same. Before he died, he saw his mother's gentle, youthful smile. It must have been just a dream, a mother who had devoted herself entirely to her children, whose beauty surpassed that of any famous actress. Even in his dreams he still wants to cry. Tears fall as you scoop each spoonful of rice. You can't be a child in a dream. Dong-gut felt extremely satisfied because this dream was so real. Old wallpaper, musty smell, and my mother's worried face. The wonderful taste of freshly cooked rice, and the moment he called out for his mother once. But is this just a dream? 3 months later, Dong-gut headed to school. And this is definitely not a dream, but Dong-gut has returned to that moment, the time when he was still in middle school and loved having fun. But this time he isn't playing anymore. He has to study because now he needs to find a better way instead of being an actor. He was determined to make his mom happy by getting higher grades instead of doing silly things like before. Unlike his previous life, he no longer pursues acting for his mother's sake. Shortly after that, the teacher announced the scores for this exam. A student ranked 12th in the whole school. Everyone in the class was surprised, because last time he barely made it. That is Dong-gut. Even the teachers weren't very friendly when he first achieved good results, and was asked to come to the principal's office at noon. The reaction of Dong-gut was quite indifferent. He just replied perfunctorily. The homeroom teacher was a bit surprised because it didn't seem like the reaction of a student ranked 12th in the entire school. It makes Dong-gut extremely uncomfortable. He studied like crazy at night without sleeping. His memory and understanding have improved since the regression, so he is looking forward to an excellent result. After class, the teacher reminded Dong-gut to follow. Young man, disappointed for the entire time, just muttered vague responses. More than anything, now that the exams are over, he will have time to help his mother. Sure enough, as soon as I got to the teacher's office, he accused and questioned Dong-gut of cheating. He was clueless. But it's hard to believe when someone ranked last in midterms suddenly jumps to 12th place in the entire school. Even if a dog could talk, the naivety of Dong-gut touched the teacher's heart. Then he calmly reasoned the teacher had placed the laziest students next to him, so even if they tried to copy his work, they'd fall asleep before he could finish. Secondly, how could he possibly steal the exam questions and complete the test by memorizing the answers? So if you're not sure, Dong-gut, please check again. He's fine too. The look on his face says it all. He's clearly surprised. But he didn't try to hurt the boy anymore and let him go. That brat seems to have changed his personality without him noticing. Just stepped onto the schoolyard, Dong-gut was invited to play soccer. But everyone knows he's not playing anymore. Not excluding the teacher, even classmates noticed something had changed him. Dong-gut sighed deeply at everything. Like a bird spreading its wings, he changed because he traveled back in time. First meeting mother after her death. Everything feels magical, like nothing around you matters anymore. At that moment, he wondered if these things could be a dream, or perhaps the work of God or some other supernatural force he didn't understand. But the sting in his eyes from the tears was real. Maybe this is the magical world he created in his mind. But that doesn't matter. Everything here is vibrant. Dong-gut wondered, in the fragile boundary of the Grand Line, are you giving me another chance? A chance to change regret? Life is full of wonders, like the way Dong-gut couldn't believe her son was actually here. He wore dirty clothes to help his mother, making her panic. Sure, here's the translation according to your instructions. She'll surely be very surprised when her son helps out for the first time. Even so, he never went to the market because of the shame that his mother sold fish there. But he didn't want to be embarrassed anymore. He will not miss this opportunity. Now it's time to learn to sell fish for mom. Even though my mother goes to work very early, all the fresh wholesale goods are already sold out, so she often has to buy leftovers from the retail section and sell them cheaper due to the difference in product quality. He was carrying the box, wondering whether he should go to the wholesale place with his mom tomorrow, while she was worried that lifting a few boxes would be too much for him after the exam. But he felt fine, and he really wanted to help. The past life of Dong-gut was not just about acting, but also involved doing other things to make a living. He worked as a driver and then a loader. But he sells fish the best, because he learned and observed from a young age, so he goes back and forth between the market and the supermarket to sell fish. At that time, his mother didn't have sales skills. Without sales skills, it would be very difficult to succeed in Busan Market. If he spoke loudly and clearly, using all his fish-selling skills and calling out to customers, things would be different. Here is the fish-selling class of actor Dong-gut. Just go to the market and shout loudly like the way you save your breath to argue with your parents. While Dong-gut's mom saw her son like that, afraid he might cause trouble for the girl, she wanted him to leave. Some people here really like the kid's voice and the boundless energy of youth. The owner himself must breathe a sigh of relief for grabbing everyone's attention. Now is the time to fully sell to mom. While the young salesperson enthusiastically sold goods, nearby a person with a camera walked into the market. This person is the author Choi, and she is here for her child's first day. The assistant next to her felt a bit worried when she said that. She is the screenwriter of the film August Man. Accompanied by the famous supporting actor from KBS, They are looking for the main character for the movie, and it's a child. And the man wearing glasses is quite upset that he can't get the lead role just because he's an adult. And to add to that, he doesn't like the dialect. It's like clothes that don't fit. Wondering why someone born and raised in Seoul could be tougher and more local than someone from Busan. Right at that moment, the sharp voice pierced into his ear. It comes from the busiest stall in the fish section of Donggut. He was extremely open when introducing tuna to the sharks, even though I thought they all looked the same. He even tried to act mysterious by giving the customer a shark and wanted to hide it from his boss, but in reality, it was tuna. Just a way to satisfy customers when they see what they buy is unique. Then Donggut continued showcasing his sales talent, mixing in some humorous and quirky jokes. The people from the market immediately surrounded them, wanting to film because of the entertaining antics. Donggut giggled and said, "If you want to take a picture, buy some fish for me first." Both screenwriter Choi and that supporting actor never expected to find such a talented kid in the market, but they did find him. After rallying passionately, Donggut took a brief pause. "You told your mom that the fruit vendor gave him some strawberries because today is his lucky day and his..." Mother kept complaining, telling him to come home and rest, so Donggut grabbed the box and exchanged the goods for her. He did it because he wanted to. And more importantly, how could he go home early when his mother is struggling so much? The face was gaunt and anxious, with dark circles under furrowed eyes. Donggut realized that it seemed he had never observed his mother's expression even once before. He put the box down to see what was going on with his mother, but she responded with a bright smile, saying she just had a tough day today. Donggut couldn't understand why she was looking at him like that. Just as the conversation between the mother and daughter was interrupted by two strangers, the man suddenly wanted to talk to Donggut's mother for a moment. Although not knowing what happened, Donggut's mother quickly told the other person that there was no more fish today. But he wasn't talking about that. What he wanted to talk about was that student. Donggut noticed that his mother looked worried and confused when someone came to talk to her and asked about him. But he doesn't get what he did wrong. I mean, wasn't it wrong to fool around before? Now he has to show his mother what true maturity really means. The man handed over a business card and introduced himself as an actor from KBS. Donggut's eyes darkened and suddenly, Donggut's mother reacted very strongly because she thought the other person was the producer of the famous TV show, making him exhausted from explaining. At the same time, writer Choi also introduced himself. The name hit like a lightning bolt. Before, Donggut couldn't recognize that face just by hearing the name alone. She is a screenwriter with record-breaking viewership ratings, her first work was a hit, and the following works were successive hits. She is a featured screenwriter on many channels, including KBS. No matter how well she writes, people only need to hear that this scene was written by the head of the drama department to understand. Why is someone with such a powerful voice in the film industry here? As for this man, in the end, Donggut doesn't remember meeting anyone as famous as the writer Choi in his past life, but they really shouldn't have anything to do with his life now. Although he was suspicious, Donggut still smiled and thanked the man for complimenting his voice for being good at advertising in the market. He's just wondering if her son, Donggut, is interested in acting. She was stunned to learn that her son had a chance to become a child actor. That person praised Donggut for his potential, but Donggut wasn't ready to respond immediately and was still cautious. He didn't want to repeat his past life, couldn't abandon his mother and kill her like before. He vowed to live wholeheartedly for his mother, so if he tried a little harder without becoming an actor, the person switched to seeking attention, trying to get to know Donggut. In the end, he's now faced with two choices. However, he will no longer live the life of an actor, whether he accepts the business card or not. Even the teacher was surprised by Donggut's dream. After he filled out the dream aspiration form, he was immediately called to the administration office. Donggut, a young man, wants to become a civil servant. He has been a teacher for a long time, but this is the first time he has seen someone who wants to become a public servant, so he asked Donggut what he plans to do. But he doesn't even know, so why does he want to become a public servant? Donggut said honestly, "This is an industry that offers stability compared to having a private area, with less risk and good pay, so it will be good for his mother." The teacher suddenly felt gloomy. The boy was too mature to be called a child. Recently when he talked to him, it felt like talking to a peer. Then he gave Donggut the resources and all the lessons needed to become a public servant. Donggut was very happy. Now he feels the need to apologize for having doubted the kid before, and asks Donggut to take care of his mother. But in his heart, he still wanted to ask something. That's why Donggut suddenly grew up so fast. He grinned widely and admitted to the teacher, "Because I had already died once." After that, Donggut left the library, worried that he might be leaving too late and that his mother would be anxious. If you ask Donggut what the most important thing in life is, for some people it's love or happiness, many say it's money, but for Donggut, it's different. Some people can't help because they're poor, and when they're rich, greed blinds them. Donggut is in that situation too. When my mom is struggling with rising rent prices, At first, he could clearly say that I had given up on money since being revived, even though he knew it was unreasonable for them to suddenly raise house prices less than a year after signing the contract. And no one asked for a deposit back for a house like that. His mother just kept struggling like that forever. And this is what made Donggut realize, come back to life even if he's not an actor, he must hurry to make money. Selling fish didn't cover the overdue rent. Part-time jobs are not suitable for a child of this age. And that damn light is the only way. How can a middle school student make a lot of money? He is truly stuck. Live a life he still couldn't solve the problem. And now he only has one choice left. The thing he thought he would reject, because he didn't want to repeat the life of an actor. A call changes everything. Donggut has a question. If you become a child actor, how much money can you earn? The man by the dais, Kai BC, was even more surprised after hearing it. He couldn't believe the boy was this brave when he called and bluntly asked, how much can you pay me? Of course he knows that actors negotiating salaries is not unusual, but this is the first time he has seen a new child actor do that. Right at that moment, writer Choi appeared with alcohol in his system. He told the screenwriter he just got a call from Donggut. She instantly lit up. Now the two are standing outside the shop talking about the child actor. He unbelievably recounted how he broke into a sweat when he received a question from the boy. The screenwriter chuckled. A kid who didn't even die among the seasoned traders in Busan is definitely not normal. More importantly, we have to acknowledge that the kid acts pretty well. Right then he discovered a truth. He was surprised when talking to the boy Donggut, because the boy didn't speak with a local accent, but with the accent of someone who had lived in Seoul for many years. The screenwriter also wondered, because no matter how long you've lived in Seoul, the local accent can still easily mix in. So now this guy wants to guide that kid to read the script first. The scriptwriter did not expect that. He didn't expect it, but they want to meet him tomorrow. And at that moment he asked Donggut if he was confident and sure this wasn't a hot scene. Just as they were talking halfway, someone inside rushed out and told the director to go in because the sun was about to rise. He draws everyone's attention and started announcing the plan for tomorrow. First, someone who didn't even take a break said this. Drama and theater are not dead. But today a friend mentioned it. A person who didn't even speak directly said that. To cut a long story short, you have to see to know. That statement felt like an endless surge of passion boiling in the throat when downing the last drop of liquor. The next morning, Donggut sat dazed on the bus to school, thinking that acting was a talent. From a cleaner and waiter to an actor, Donggut admires the seniors in the industry. Their talent is like the sun, while his is like a bug. But behind the scenes, he sees how hard they struggle. Finally, he learned that talent comes from hard work. The stage, film, and theater, are they different? Yes, acting is more important in a play because it's closer to the audience. Direction matters more in films. But in films, the screenwriter has the most influence. This is the creation of the whole film. The actor's voice, breathing, gestures, and expressions, or even imitations, will definitely be different. Donggut learned a lot in his previous life, a study full of tangled notes. Facing the truth in the industry, it took him quite a long time for the words to shatter in his mind. After he dies, he can finally say that from his teenage years, he really tried or not. After getting off at the bus stop, Donggut immediately started searching. Just entered the cafe, he couldn't stop worrying about how to find a place to live here since it's quite far from Busan. Today he has an appointment with Anstudai KBC. He seems kind. But Donggut knows well that in his previous life, he was the one who killed others with kindness. And this place also had writer Choi. She handed Donggut the script and wanted him to read it carefully starting today. She really hopes Donggut performs well. The man accompanying the screenwriter immediately told Choi to stop and let the boy catch his breath. Now we'll start the script reading and try it out. Donggut complied. In his previous life he had read countless scripts from supporting roles to leading roles. The position of the main character and other characters is different. If the main character makes a mistake, they can laugh it off and move on as if nothing happened. But if a supporting character makes an error, they will be seen as the villain. To avoid any edits, each line had to be written with great care. As a result, Donggut's memory improved thanks to that habit. He just glanced at it for a few minutes. Now already wants to start. Both Choi and the other person were extremely surprised, so they will check it out. Donggut agreed. The screenwriter can start wherever they want. Screenwriter Choi couldn't believe the kid would let him choose. He could remember in such a short time. She began skimming through the script to see where the main character appeared. Maybe the kid was too confident, or maybe he really had talent. She was very curious to try. Scriptwriter Choi immediately stepped into the role, expressing his sadness. The guy was watching Donggut. This is the play. Donggut raised his voice saying, "That bastard Min Seot, that scoundrel has no father. Let's see. A dialogue in a play must be expressed within limited time and conditions. Every nuance and reaction needs to be immediately portrayed. Donggut does it effortlessly. What is the role of an actor in a script? It is to show the audience the character they are portraying at that moment. It's hard to understand, isn't it? But through a professional's eyes, it's different. Donggut seems to be on a movie set, not in a cafe. The director watched the boy in disbelief at how quickly Donggut transformed, his acting skills making the realization of the character possible. What words can be used to describe the performance of this child? The director is unsure, whether it's a pleasant surprise or déjà vu. Holding the script in hand, the director recalls the silent film master Botioki Thon. He once said that there are many faces in the world, and a person can have many different expressions. But if you are an actor, you must have a blank face while finding the sadness within that blankness. Screenwriter Choi also shares the same emotions with the director. A child who has never performed yet knows how to bring joy and express deep emotions to the audience below, just like a true actor's duty. The boy's expression gradually changed even though he spoke without thinking. Clear anger, sadness that isn't forced or strained, extreme frustration, even tears, was transformed with remarkable subtlety. Screenwriter Choi was completely absorbed even though she was just reading the script. But the boy really seemed like a child abandoned by his mother in the script. Its emotions erupted as soon as the formula was pushed aside. A child can be that extraordinary, huh? The line that escalates everything is, "Throw these shoes into the sea just like your father who drowned." He's extremely angry. But just a few minutes later, they were able to laugh again. Both the director and the screenwriter couldn't believe how she could act like that. Donggut stood still at the question, wondering how to respond. But he quickly smiled back, because that was what was written in the script. After that audition, Donggut said goodbye to the two and left. Both were still quite bewildered by that level of acting. It seems they temporarily forgot to react. The strict director told the screenwriter to take a breath and come back to life. However, the director was somewhat curious and asked writer Choi if that scene was deliberately chosen. That's true because she wondered how the boy would act with so many mixed emotions, but it was too unbelievable. Even he memorized all the lines in just a short time. Screenwriter Choi is definitely wondering, and so is the director. He couldn't even do that when he was worried. However, that's a valid question. Why was he able to act like that when the boy was found at Namhan Market? He is a good boy, extremely close to his mother. That's why he intentionally chose a character who is rude to his mother, a novice actor who could do something he had never done before. By the way, writer Choi also noticed that expression on the boy's face. It looked pretty scary, gave me goosebumps. So that is why the director regrets not bringing the camera. That boy acts like he's straight out of a script. It seems that screenwriter Choi also spent a long time learning that skill to work in the theater. More than anything, the director feels that Donggut seems to receive his stare like a camera lens. To put it simply, at that moment he wasn't reading the script at all, just staring at it intently. Besides calculating his position and automatically adjusting the distance, the tone of voice is also adjusted. At first he thought it was just a coincidence, so he deliberately changed his position, but the boy kept moving in that direction. Even the director wondered if the screenwriter Choi noticed such subtle changes. She just thought of it now. She was so immersed in the boy's acting that she didn't notice anything else. It felt like she was the mother in the script, from that moment on. The main character is really Hachin Kim. Unexpectedly, the boy Donggut calculated so carefully. Now she can't forget the calm voice of that boy, as if he were searching for his muse. And the director loved it. Plus, he had only ever seen one person perform like that before. It makes the screenwriter extremely curious. That person is an actor trapped in the script and capable of much more. The director didn't respond to the screenwriter, lost in his own thoughts. That kid completing such a difficult task, is he a natural genius, or is there something more? And how terrifying a monster it might become when it grows up. It's as if the two of them. From the perspective of a director, his limits have been challenged. The next morning, right after reading the script, Fan Donggut woke up early to help his mother with the deliveries. She kept telling her son not to go with her today, but the boy chuckled, reassuring his mother that he had woken up early and couldn't sleep anyway, so he was just considering it exercise. That is all he could do to help his mother. He's trying harder every day, knowing his mother will worry, but there's nothing else he can do. Donggut will definitely look better when everything is rearranged. Just as he was arranging the fish stall, he noticed a stranger lurking around the market. Donggut immediately told his mother he was stepping out for a bit. The man over there seems confused and a bit unkempt. Donggut approached with a friendly smile, which startled him. Turns out this person is the actor who played Do-chan in the movie Happy Days, and Donggut knows him. Of course Donggut knows. The person who guided him and gave him the motivation and burning desire to enter the profession is this one. And he is a huge fan of Song Chong-siat. That man didn't know Donggut, so he felt very strange. The kid got so excited to meet someone that he forgot what situation he was in. Now Donggut suddenly remembers that Song Chong-siat is someone he hasn't met in this life. In his past life, he was an actor who was always in the headlines of entertainment news, big and small. 20 years later, no one in Korea doesn't know him, A powerhouse actor dominating every box office release with sky-high revenue. He is an actor who never leaves the top 5 national actors. And An is the idol that Dong-gut deeply admired in his past life. Currently, he's still quite clueless and no one knows him yet. But then how could he still be an unknown actor in the film industry? Why is he so happy though? He's almost about to cry. Turns out this man, being an unknown actor, never thought he'd meet his first fan here like this. Dong-gut had a great time, so he wanted to ask about An's journey while he was here. This time, actor Song is here to take on a small role at a set in Busan. His face looked quite worried because he had to go to the market on his own to learn some local words. Unluckily, on the first day at the market, I got pickpocketed, which Dong-gut found unsurprising. Anyone from the city is the same, and the police just report that they couldn't find the culprit. Dong-gut felt so sorry for him. In this remote area even CCTV isn't installed properly. Currently, Song lives in obscurity and is nearly homeless. A stark contrast to his elegant appearance in his previous life. Even Dong-gut doesn't think he can give him any money, because he's also struggling financially. Suddenly this bright little mind came up with a great idea. He wants to learn the local language, so Dong-gut will teach him. That was a cheerful suggestion from a boy in Busan, without any concern for gains or losses. Because he was just like you in the past, everything was tough when he had to leave the theater and step into the film industry. At that moment, Song suddenly appeared, full of friendliness. Dong-gut felt somewhat uneasy because he was not used to receiving help from strangers. He helped Dong-gut without any reason, which made him curious. In fact, everything has its cause and effect. The actor Song, who was previously helped by an unknown actor during the transition from theater to film at the age Dong-gut is now. At that time, I was alone and faced many difficulties. So, my senior once advised me like this. If you ever meet someone like yourself in the future, help him out, okay? Just 1 glass of soju won't be too expensive. The boy Dong-gut, when he wasn't selling, brought someone home to introduce, giving Mama a shock. Little confidently introduced, this is today's part-time employee at the fish shop. Now he'll forget all about acting and live a life solely for his mother, paying off debts to live without regrets. After an enthusiastic fish selling session, actor Song broke his shoulder. Now he realizes that selling fish at Namhan Market is not easy, especially when taking orders in the local dialect. It's like he wants to throw his brain away. But thanks to that, An has definitely learned the local dialect. At first, Song just thought the boy was unusual, but when he saw how energetic the boy was, he realized he was more than just unusual. Even though he is still young, he is not shy at all and attracts everyone's attention. With actor Song, that boy is truly amazing. If this were a performance, you would become a renowned actor dominating the entire stage. The boy will probably be so noticed that he won't be able to hide. A naturally gifted kid still remains an unpolished gem. But the little one is still incredibly enthusiastic about the fish-selling job. At dinner, Mrs. Dong-gut was deeply sorry because there were no tea or cakes to offer the guests who came to visit. For Song, just being grateful for the dinner is enough, nothing more needed. By the way, Dong-gut wants to say that tonight he will sleep in the kitchen, and you should prepare the softest blanket for him. Seeing everyone so enthusiastic makes me feel embarrassed. Just having a place to lie down is good enough. One thing that Song has been mindful of since the beginning is that it might be better to call someone 12 years older uncle instead of brother. But for Dong-gut, it doesn't matter because he also calls a 60-year-old woman sister. All 3 of them chatted and enjoyed their meal together in a warm atmosphere with one more person. After that, Dong-gut prepared a place for his senior to sleep. Everything happened so fast and so happily that Song didn't know what to feel anymore. This man owes the boy so much but doesn't know how he'll repay both mother and child. Right at that moment, Dong-gut successfully distracted by going to bed early. The first time actor Song saw a boy mature like this. He advised him that if he meets someone like himself in the future, he shouldn't ignore them but help them. Just need a warm bed and a bowl of steaming rice. That will be all they need help with. Chong Siat is completely numb now. He doesn't stop at just being unusual anymore. The words are very touching, but he probably doesn't know that Sunbae feels comfortable with him because he's worried about becoming a burden. After entering the room, Dong-gut heard some sniffles from the senior's room, so it seems everything is fine now. Dong-gut lay down to sleep when his mother asked him if he helped the other person because he was an actor. Dong-gut completely admitted to his mother that he was a great actor, and then started talking about the play in which he played a supporting role. It turns out my son is interested in acting, the mother casually remarked. It made Dong-gut's heart ache. He lied to his mom again, saying he only watched it for fun. Dong-gut himself is facing the challenge of becoming a child actor to earn money. Film crews, big or small, are always haunted by scenes involving children because they are like a nightmare. Of course, the director thinks that not all child actors are the same, and now he is presenting the contract along with the payment terms to Dong-gut for review. Seeing the amount of the payment, the director was taken aback and quickly asked the boy if something was wrong. Just because Dong-gut liked it, if he weren't a famous child actor, The pay would range from 100,000 to 1,000,000 won. Experience gained and recognition are more important than the pay, so this amount is enough for a rookie actor like Dong-gut. The director was extremely worried because he saw that Hye-in kept getting lost in thought. There is one issue though. The performance depends on the third script, and the final shooting day coincides with the opening day. The director quickly checked the schedule as the boy said. He suggested arranging one more day or something like that, but the director guessed she had 2 more days of school, so how could she send an official letter to the school office? However, Dong-gut doesn't care about those things and expresses his desire to win the Gay Song Award. So if it's too hard to schedule a day, you want to propose editing the third scene, since the shoulder is only visible in a few places in the third part, so she will only get paid for the first 2 parts. Next, he skillfully negotiated the price for the performance, including the third scene and the second part if the director needed and could afford it. The first time in years of doing this job, the young man got such a blatant lie from a kid. Even though the boy had to accompany his mother to sign the contract, the moment he handed over her ID card and signature, everything became clear. At that time it was just a passing glance, but he wondered why she was working so hard at Namhan Market. In reality, if you are lazy for just one day, you won't be able to work. If you don't open the shop even for a single day, someone else will take your spot. So he can't let his mom do his job for him. It really leaves a deep impression on the director's mind. Then the boy, with remarkable maturity, decided to clearly explain what he needed in the contract. Or more precisely, it's everything mom needs. Now at this contract signing, the director guarantees that the payment will be clearly classified, so just keep filming until part 3. You should put it in the contract instead of saying you're an electrician. Can't beat this kid with words. After the director contract is done, there's still one more concern. Will Dong-gut perform well in front of the camera? An felt a bit worried because this is M's first performance, and he put a lot of effort into this project. Dong-gut asked directly, "Are you worried?" It seems like there's something off with this sentence. Maybe the director hasn't caught up yet. Dong-gut knew he was worried because he was the director. Moreover, it's not just the camera, but also a crowd, including staff and spectators. Can a new actor, or even a young boy, handle this pressure? Han Lo Dong-gut will probably cry on set, and filming will be delayed. Everything hit the mark. The director really did cancel the original child actor and signed with Dong-gut. But now with the boy's demeanor, he thinks he made the right choice. The boy is still very humble despite being able to read others at such a young age. Additionally, Dong-gut reassured the director, "You are a disciplined person, and won't let people have nightmares when working with children." Just on time, the clock struck, signaling that Dong-gut knew he was running late. "You need to leave now, so say goodbye to the director and see you on the shooting day." Honestly, the director is really looking forward to seeing how the kid will perform. After returning to the fish shop, Mom immediately asked about the contract signing. As soon as he got back, the boy jumped right into work with his 4.0 cry. He even enthusiastically described in detail how to cook the fish, then pair it with something stylish to eat and drink. The whole market gathered not because of the fish, but because of the delicious aroma from the boy's words. The boy also knows a lot about fish locations. He truly seems so different in the eyes of Mother Dong-gut. Later that evening, while pushing the cart to clean up, Mi Dong-gut took the opportunity to ask her son what kind of movie he was filming. Little one excitedly told her mom about a movie about her and her son. The woman asked her son when the filming would start. Also, he revealed to his mom that his role is Ha-chin Kim, a child from Busan. She immediately burst into laughter because her son was already such a child. A sincere question to the child she poured her heart into. "Do you want to become an actor?" A pause interrupted the conversation between the mother and her child, and it stemmed from Dong-gut. The answer was denial. He told his mother, "I'll do it just once and be done with it." A few days later, taking advantage of the remaining time, Dong-gut practiced and rehearsed with the camera movements he imagined. Dong-gut was an actor in a past life, but that person once ran away from life, became an alcoholic, and forgot the responsibilities of an actor. So will it be worth it now? Acting has always been a deeply rooted and ingrained passion in the heart of Dong-gut. Suddenly, you remembered the question you asked the actor Song in your past life, how he could act so naturally. At that time, the senior didn't reply, and it was like a branch growing from a root. Everyone's acting style is different, and Dong-gut took quite a long time and countless roles to realize this truth. The answer to my mother's question kept ringing in my ears, Dong-gut. That's the strict requirement he set for himself, just perform once and be done with it. The anger at himself gave Dong-gut the determination never to be lost in smoke or glory again. Meaningless and greedy dreams that must be played out should be shut down, locked away in the attic, and left untouched. Dong-gut is a prisoner of selfishness and ambition. He will try to see the end of his acting career no longer exist. With this role, Dong-gut will put an end to his acting career. All vanity, once closed, leaves no regrets. This is the official filming day, and Dong-gut keeps running around everywhere. He keeps taking care of one person after another in the film crew. Both the director and the assistant felt the kid seemed tireless. The director was even more shocked. It started at dawn. The assistant munches on the hot potato of the little boy. It seems like Donggut has taken over B's work already. The boy kept giving everyone one thing after another, taking care of the actors even more than Bai did. Thanks to the boy, the gears turned smoothly like a well-oiled door. The director reflects that Donggut's role is that of an experienced person, so that outfit was designed and made by the costume design team, right? At that time, the assistant asked the costume lady where these old clothes came from, and the answer was so amazing it knocked me off my feet. They found them in boxes in Dongdo. The assistant is sure the director was shocked when he saw Donggut at sunset, and Kim Ha-jin has really brought it upon that child already. Didn't expect the director to know so little about Donggut either. The boy pretended to sneak away when he saw the money, and it seems like right now it's really enjoying acting. The movie about the August Man is about a man who has gone through a lot since childhood. It is the first work of the famous director and screenwriter Choi, consisting of 16 episodes. Usually these series are under 10 episodes, but now it's getting a bit lengthy. The collaboration between the director and writer Choi seems to be at its peak. The actress appearing on set today is the mother of Kim Ha-jin. That person is Bat Soo-dan, an actor from Hwang-han, who is only 30 but has already become famous for their exceptional acting. Even 20 years later, Ko still remains famous and is known as a different world. Right then, the light was blocked out. Someone came looking for Donggut, and it was your co-star for today. The actress Soo-dan made a rather ungraceful joke about how Donggut had replaced the previous child actor. Have you ever acted before? Her face clearly showed disdain, as if working with an inexperienced new actor was truly exhausting. The act of wiping away that lipstick stain Donggut remembered. An actor once met in a past life with extraordinary acting skills who truly brought characters to life at a young age. Perhaps thanks to this, even though she is over 50, she is still actively taking on many roles. Now you can see how bright her aura is, but it completely contrasts with her personality. 20 years from now, she will be the talk of every scandal and gossip. So for the image of a completely devoted wife in the film, it is truly deceitful, Donggut responded harshly, greeting the doctor with a phrase. Indeed, Tianbat couldn't stand being called old by a child, especially when it was so subtly insulting. To be serious, Donggut admitted he had never acted before. Just now answering the question earlier made this lady incredibly annoyed. Her mood grew increasingly irritable as there were so many child actors, yet the director chose to bring this kid in. This lady started acting all high and mighty, asking, "Where's the Donggut family?" Who would have thought the little boy went alone? Now her attitude has changed a bit because she thought the boy didn't have a mother. No matter how it's said, she needs to keep working, and she starts bragging about how familiar she is with this scene after practicing a million times. A child like Donggut quickly got into character and started calling his co-star Mom. She was a bit startled when unexpectedly called. At the same time, No gave a friendly reminder that if Mom wants to look beautiful on camera, she should touch up her makeup. Before the senior could process the awkward situation, Donggut asked to leave. Until now, the language system of the actress is still out playing, not yet returned. It's time to load the information after replacing the memory, then yell at Donggut, that useless brat. Over at the corner where Ju Gam is, they're starting to set up the camera. He asked the director if after shooting the blow, they needed to shoot the full posture, should they do a close-up in one take. If so, it would be a continuous throwing of the machine, and needs to consider whether to rewind the tape from the beginning. At the same time, with the skill of a debut filmmaker, he felt a bit annoyed because the director wanted to finish shooting in one take, but it would be split during the process. That's the kind of shoot where the kid actor is filming for the first time. He won't take any breaks during filming, but if the other actors don't follow the camera's movements, some issues will arise. The director is confident in his choice, so there won't be any problems. The director then continued to flatter and pamper the cameraman because Cam was the soul of the entire film. He always carries a lot of tape when filming child actors, but don't worry if the camera crew goes over budget. The director promises to take responsibility. A word is worth 1,000 gold pieces, especially when it comes to money matters. So this time Dia will trust the director. By the way, he hasn't seen actor Bat anywhere. Even at the last set, the shoot was postponed because all the supporting roles got mixed up with the child roles. That has exactly become an obsession for a director who specializes in making movies with child actors of this guy already. The two main actors are back. Both Sunbae Bat and Donggut are ready on set. Even in the moment they faced each other, she still teased him as usual. Scene 1 of August Man begins. Mother and son at Jiagachiseota Market. As soon as it was deployed, the expression and gaze of Donggut changed 180 degrees. He was grumpy about being stuck here working just because he didn't want to go to school. The words my mother said always echo in my ears. If you don't have money, you must be content with what you have. That is a good way to hunt parasites floating on the water. It was the boy's father who died from catching those things. The kid's mom was at a loss for words. On the other hand, behind that was a senior who was extremely shocked by Donggut's first time. In the end, the boy hated even being touched by his own mother. "I'd rather die than grow up to be a fish seller like my mom." And if his mother felt ashamed talking to a son who couldn't study or sell fish, he threatened to throw himself into the sea once and for all. All emotions are pushed to the peak. The unexpected action with the pile of fish surprised the director. It was completely off script. And the boy threw the fish right at his mom's face. In real life, the entire film crew is speechless. What about the mother? It seems like the plot is taking a slight turn, because the person who almost unexpectedly stole the spotlight was the legendary veteran actor. Right at that moment, the director yelled "cut," and the makeup assistant quickly ran in to take care of her. Director praised Dong-gut as top-notch and took a break before continuing. The director Doubt himself was also skeptical about what was called this kid's first performance. The young director felt uneasy when facing the piercing gaze of Chu Dae-ut. If this is true, I wonder where the director found this kid. It's like Kim Ha-chin has been in front of the camera for a long time. Doubt in the heart of Dae-ut grew stronger with a child being so bold for the first time. To be honest, even the director couldn't believe what he saw. When watching it read the script, he didn't think it would perform well at all. Actually, the director felt that its acting talent when reading the script was just the tip of the iceberg. Even though the two sometimes chatted outside, they never left the camera's view. The expression on their faces during the shoot seemed like they had been preparing for a long time. After years of hustling in this non-smoking industry, if the boy keeps being this talented, the other actors will be jealous and angry. More than anything, Dae-ut absolutely loves this little boy. In all the years of filming on set, he's never seen a kid as good as him. Especially in this situation, in the bustling crowded market, it wasn't afraid. Although Dude is experienced, to be honest, this uncle can't do the job that well either. A more brutal truth is that it gives him a headache because they are often criticized for the dubbing team. However, when watching the mother perform, even a stranger like him had to stay silent and watch. It turns out that what matters is how the actor plays their role. The director didn't understand the question, but actually there's nothing. It's just that Dae-ut couldn't see her face after that scene. The director just remembered that from that angle, only Dong-gut could see it. On set to focus on the main character, so the mother will not show her face. Dae-ut must have been furious, and the boy slapping her with a fish wasn't a bad thing either. For example, if the camera had been pointed at the mother, who could have known the kid would turn into a scene wrecker? Only a seasoned actor would dare to perform that action, and it's truly strange for a child. Dae-ut's words left the director deep in thought. This is something that needs to be reconsidered. Sao Dong-gut could behave as if they were two different people during the first performance. The first impression was of a boy who seemed obedient, but that facial expression left a deep mark on the director's mind. It seems this is more of an uneasy or uncomfortable feeling since the boy is still shy. Just at that moment, the director suddenly felt a bit dizzy from thinking too much about a child actor. Now, get ready to continue filming. The director told Mr. Dae-ut to adjust the camera to shoot from above and closer to the mother during the monologue scene. Song. He turned to remind the senior a bit not to forget to show the wrinkled hand of the mother. If forgotten, they would have to shoot again. All three camera-loving things must be weighed. It would be better to take care of the boy, because he is still working on the frame. Then, with authority and a booming voice, after yelling Henry's name multiple times, the director reminded everyone to pick up the pace. But suddenly the entire makeup team started to make a fuss. Because Baek, the actor, is bleeding. Her expression and reaction didn't seem very good. She started throwing a fit, demanding the wardrobe assistant bring dry clothes immediately. Deep down, Ko is filled with hatred toward that kid to the core. What was he thinking, daring to throw live fish at a famous actor? That moment will probably haunt my career for the rest of my life. The face was smeared with salty, slimy stuff from the fish. Because of that little kid actor, she forgot her lines completely. At that moment, the senior yelled at Dong-gut for daring to throw fish in an adult's face without warning. Suddenly, Ko realized that she had slapped herself. This isn't a rookie. No need to make a fuss over a few fish. Song's explanation made perfect sense. If he were Kim Ha-chin, he would do that. But at least because it was done without thinking and without prior notice, it is true that Dong-gut needs to apologize. Everything feels like a ridiculous mess. That kid has read enough of the script to understand the character and fully embody it. At first, she just thought the girl was lucky to be chosen. But surprisingly, the girl still maintained proper manners right after filming the scene. Especially she found out what the heck was wrong with her. When Miss Bat left the theater industry, she stopped thinking of acting as an art, and more than anything, the paycheck was all that mattered. She never neglected her acting, but this feeling coming back is truly strange. The more she thought about it, the less sense it made, so the aloof girl got irritated and started nitpicking the groups for making her wait too long. Suddenly a staff member rushed inside and said, "Don't go outside now, there's a fight going on." The brave Bat ignored everything and went outside to see what was happening. A noisy crowd was in an uproar because the film crew blocked the road for hours. The uncles and aunts who do business in this market are furious because if the roads keep getting blocked, today's meal will be lost. The director can only try his best to make them understand that they've already asked the authorities and are trying to finish filming as soon as possible. As a result, the merchants started getting physical because their livelihood was affected. The 8 immortals predict this round will surely end soon. But suddenly a familiar boy, more familiar than anyone, dashed across. It swerved into the crowd, causing a commotion, making the young man jump in surprise. Donggut took a deep breath and tried to catch up with the kid. But it was too late. Donggut screamed an apology with all his might. Senior Bat officially became the cornerstone. I have no idea what the heck is going on. The crowd, startled by the shout, stopped fighting. All attention focused on Donggut. The boy proudly introduced himself and his job selling fish. Even so, the loudest uncle here raised his voice, accusing him of making it up. After all, he's an actor. Donggut agreed, saying that it's true she works as an actress, but the reason is to continue running her small shop in Busan. The old man couldn't believe the kid knew about the market, but he seemed to be talking very confidently about things he didn't know. The sarcastic words from him made Donggut annoyed, asking him to listen carefully. I'll say it just once. Donggut started speaking in a Busan accent and talked about sashimi. This is a dish everyone in the market knows. Some people catch it with nets. Others may use fishing rods, but in the end, there's only one outcome. And it is the same. The annual festival is always held, and everyone has old memories here. Just as Donggut spoke, he swept his gaze over everyone. Seeing a boy at Namhan Market is indeed strange, but it's not impossible, and if everyone keeps making a fuss like that, the traditional market will soon disappear. With the most determined look, he asserted that if this film aired, tourists would flock to Jagachi or Namhan. A kid under 18 can make such a bold statement. Strangely enough, all the adults were so convinced by his words that they couldn't find anything to say. Donggut concluded his speech with a strong argument. Open your heart and embrace, because the people of Busan are not shy at all. It's surprising that the kid managed to calm the situation and convince everyone, while the director, with an adult's voice, was completely powerless. Busan locals can be quite particular. If they make a mistake, they apologize. They realize when they've overreacted. The director also took a step back, admitted his fault, and promised to be more careful from now on. It seems like everything's been resolved. Actor Bat is now officially traumatized because what kind of kids are these? Then the whole film crew went out drinking, and as expected, alcohol loosened tongues. Dyuk laughed heartily, and bet that if that kid had been born earlier, he'd be leading the charge by now. 3 men at the table started praising the boy. Maybe Director Du is still a bit sober. The Uncle Deut kept repeating endless praises for Donggut. The guy was tipsy, assessing that kid had an incredible appeal to everyone. Director Du agreed to that. Its acting was like drawing the audience in. Just like the way Donggut captivated him when he and his mother sold goods at Namhan Market. Why is the boy so talented? And whether the boy realizes that he is a shining gem or not, the noisy demeanor of Judut drew the Director Du's attention back. He suddenly saw the sign in his mother tongue as his eyes sparked stars. The vendor said the fishermen would usually get into fights when they were drunk, but they calmed down when they saw that sign, so it was hung there. At this moment, another Mayman joined the party. Bat Ma Men asked the director while looking at the young man Deut. Uncle Cam is now completely drunk, inviting Bat Ma Men to drink freely because this place is really cheap, and no one cares about the demeanor of an actor here. Before the watchful eye of Director Du, Uncle Cam improvised and promised that when he returns to Seon, the director will take care of it, but today, he'll have to manage on his own. The director is probably the silent type, so he was left speechless by these 2 men. By the way, old Diot started complaining when the main actor, that loudmouth kid Donggut, wasn't around. Well, what can you do? The kid was helping his mom. Batmo, startled, stopped drinking his cup of wine as soon as he heard his mother's voice. If she already had a mother, Ko would think Donggut was just an act of rebellion, because how could someone who didn't know how to act be so good at pretending to rebel? Diut then men chuckled and reminded Kobat not to say that, even though he knew the truth was hard to accept. The girl believed she was right because in everyday life, there were times when she was also bad to her mom, so that's why. At this moment, Director Du became irritable and asked Kobat to watch her language. The rebellious youth in her mouth is now rushing back to help her mom. On the way, I was in such a hurry that I bumped into the vegetable vendor, who surprisingly, also knew her. He's pretty proud that the kid was the first to leave Namhan Market with the actor label. More importantly, if the boy gives him an autograph, the vegetable seller uncle promises to always keep him safe. Seeing the excitement, the girl at the kimchi stand joined in too. Immediately, others gathered around. The little boy, feeling embarrassed, quickly made an excuse and promised to prepare 100 signatures to give to the aunt and uncle later. For now, he asked to be excused to help his mother. The little boy quickly ran to his mother's place. She was surprised that her son, after filming, didn't leave but came here instead. Actually, my mom was probably tired, but she didn't say anything. More than anything, the scent that the young boy once hated in his past life now feels nostalgic and like an endless source of positive energy. She still avoids contact with her children out of insecurity about her body odor, just like before. The bridge of his nose tingled, but the boy quickly pushed aside the negative feelings and smiled at his mother. I really like it, Mom. After that, feeling so cheerful, I had more energy to push the bike to help my mother without answering the previous question. This is exactly what the esteemed actor is happiest about when coming back to life. At this moment, she felt that the bag her son gave her was somewhat heavy. Dong-guk cheerfully told his mother to eat before it got heavier. The director bought pork for when they got back. The grilled meat wrapped in vegetables was ready in no time. She wondered how that guy knew Dong-guk liked grilled pork. Before finishing the sentence, the piece of meat was already in the mouth. Dong-guk giggled, telling his mom to just eat and stop thinking. He bought it for everyone because they've all worked hard. So this meal made her feel very happy. Her hands were still as nimble as ever. Suddenly the atmosphere became tense because Dong-guk wanted to ask his mom about the business. It seems that it's really hard for her because mom has never sold anything before. Thinking of this, tears welled up uncontrollably, knowing how hard mom worked selling fish. In response to her son, who placed too much burden on himself, she softly said that when she sat down to eat meat with him, all her fatigue melted away like cotton candy. She is proud of her son. The neighbors always boast about how well the boy is doing, and now she has to be even better. Even though mom said that, Dong-guk still felt guilty. Mother's hands are bruised from bumps in the cold. Although she wanted to give up, she never showed how hard it was, just to give her children peace of mind. And no matter how many lives Dong-guk lives again, he still cannot grasp that noble mission. She started rambling about a future where her son would grow up, go to college, and get married, so she had to save a little money, even though she didn't know what the future would hold. Until then, this mother would still take care of her child. In the future, Dong-guk will be the one who knows best. Mom really worried until the end of her life. For her, even though no one knows, Dong-guk is her only child. The boy's heart became endlessly troubled when facing his mother. Today you don't want to pretend anymore, just cry your heart out. The knot of the present temporarily forgets the hardships of the future and expresses his feelings to his mother. This is truly her son after all. The next day, Dong-guk continued with the filming schedule. His face was swollen from crying yesterday, and everyone in the group felt so much sympathy, worried that the little guy might be struggling. Song, dealing with the knot isn't too hard, just one close-up scene today, so Baidi had it tougher because of babysitting. Naturally, B saw a sky blazing with light. He never expected the kid to be the only one who understood the feelings of an assistant filming with a child actor. Dong-guk laughed softly. You know that well. It really makes BD extremely proud because among the child actors, No was the one who saved the scene at Jiagachi. The truth is that Dong-guk isn't that great, so don't misunderstand. If the scene includes both Jiagachi and Namhan, then the whole market will be famous. Otherwise, she wouldn't step in here a second time. Two people chatted lively back and forth like friends. By the way, B asked if Dong-guk had met the girl during today's shoot yet. That girl is a famous child actress Se-eun, and I'm sure Tim Dong-guk's heart will race when their eyes meet. Little is mentioned in many programs for her beauty and talent. The young man, who has lived through several decades, was chewing while watching the little girl over there. She was small, probably just a child. The first shoot with the famous child actor from Seoul is about to take place. The whole crew focused on setting up from lighting to the background. Before the scene began, the director Do reminded B to give the script to Donsu for the final scene, and then he went to Dong-guk. B did not expect that the director would go on his own. Do approached the kid reading the script, asking if they knew the next scene was at the water faucet. He really asked an unnecessary question, though hard to believe. She is indeed sitting there rereading something she knows by heart. Actually, the director came here to tell Dong-guk what to do in this scene, but he really wanted Dong-guk to guess, though the talented young actor refused. The director encouraged the kid to try guessing with his wealth. Eventually, the boy would try to think it through. With my previous experience of misacting, the upcoming scene will probably be when you lean on the faucet and drink water, but can't open your eyes because of the light. Then continued pretending to finish the remaining water. Dong-guk was worried that if he had to read his lines while choking like that, he would definitely throw up. So Do wondered what she would do to get the handkerchief from the girl, but the guessing segment ended here, and the director had to speak. He chuckled because he couldn't outplay this girl. The final scene will have Kim Ha-chin holding the handkerchief and saying it's not needed. Everything needs to slow down a bit because the camera is capturing a close-up. This part is completely not in the script, but when it comes to Dong-guk, she knows so well that saying anything now is pointless. Dong-guk chuckled humbly and told the director, "You just think everything will follow the key points in the script." Well, it's true, but she realized that the rest of the script was too strange for a kid with no acting experience. Then Bai went to report to the director that the editing was done and wanted to start filming. Just at that moment, Donggut called out, smiled slightly at him, then relayed his mother's message about preferring grilled meat and promised to repay him with a stellar performance. Right, he's truly a mysterious boy. Now the scene of the 13 meetings by the water fountain begins. Two children like flowers existing in their own land. Kim Ha-jin drank from the faucet like the kids in this village. That girl is a true princess with clean, nice-smelling clothes. Smiled brightly and asked the boy's name. Kim Ha-jin just mumbled a vague response while the girl kept rambling on about asking her friend to show her around the school during lunch break. That Kim guy is notorious for being a tough and distant student, so tell the girl to go talk to the teacher herself. The child continued to start a conversation to get closer, and asked why their friend drank water before eating. However, classmate Kim isn't the type to share personal matters with others, especially hating the idea of explaining to anyone why they fill their empty stomach with tap water. At this moment, the child handed Kim a rather puzzling handkerchief. Facing that roughness is the naive personality of the little one who wants you to wipe them dry because they are all wet. But the response is a rejection of disgust. He threw the towel on the ground and told the girl to clean it up herself. It was completely unintentional, though. Who would have thought the little girl felt hurt, having been both hit and had a towel thrown at her, so she started to cry. The child rubbed her fingertips, sadly apologizing. Even though the one at fault is this brat. Kim, your classmate, was very composed, bent down to pick up the towel, and looked for more explanations for accidentally dropping it on the ground. Then tossed the towel to the girl and rudely demanded that she never show up again. It's true that she's difficult to please, taking someone's daughter and leaving the country. It hadn't even been a few minutes before she came back. It seemed still thirsty, so Kim Ha-jin turned on the tap to drink more. But the girl was quicker, pulling out a chocolate bar to share with her friend. Young guy has no idea what this girl is thinking. However, for the sake of pride, Kim turned down that chocolate bar. The problem is her face looked like a puppy that wasn't getting what it wanted. So the young man lined up immediately. The appearance was unpleasant, snatching the chocolate bar. The personality is still very honest, telling the girl to follow. Why even ask? You've already embarrassed the poor girl. In short, Kim agreed to take his friend on a tour of the school and hurry up since he's busy. The little girl hurriedly rushed to follow. Everything went perfectly smoothly. Now comes the scene where we go straight ahead and meet Cam. But what happened? The girl's shoelace has come undone. If they cut the scene now, the whole thing will be ruined. Who would have thought Donggut reacted so quickly, criticizing her clumsiness? He started a conversation with the girl to make the situation feel more natural, as if someone was remembering him and trying to keep him there for a bit. The young actor quickly cooperated and asked who. Donggut tied his shoelaces while explaining everything. The scene was an impromptu addition, but it became incredibly beautiful when Donggut added a line that wasn't in the script, saying that someone is thinking about you when your shoelace comes undone. Director Ju was completely stunned. His emotions now were excitement and a desire not to ruin this feeling. The scene he imagined in his mind was slowly unfolding before his eyes. Normally, everyone complains that filming scenes with kids is too hard because the director has to guide and direct inexperienced actors whose behavior is unpredictable. But Donggut isn't confined to the character Kim Han-jin. He can act so perfectly that even Du wouldn't expect it. There were tons of things he wanted to ask, but first, he had to try filming the most emotional scene possible. Next is the scene where Kim Ha-jin takes her new friend Dae-rin for a walk in the garden. Little Punk snapped, urging the girl to move faster. Get your legs up, you're waddling like a duck, it's really ticking me off. Old man Kim Chae-len complained. The kids at Seoul are always so weak. Walking around the school at this pace will take all day. Goat-rin sniffed for air and felt like he was about to die. The Ha-jin suggested finding a classroom to sit in instead of just wanting to look around the school. In the end, seeing his friend regretful, the second young master restrained his rude behavior. Suddenly, Ha-jin kneeled down with his back facing the girl, telling her to climb on so he could give her a piggyback tour with a voice that was both wild and intimidating. Dae-rin is confused while the young man is 10 times more embarrassed. Finally, the two gave each other piggyback rides, strolling romantically around the school, both as red as tomatoes. Right then it started to rain. The crew rushed to protect the equipment. Not sure where this rain came from, but it's so unlucky. At least there's no need to add anything. However, the thing he never expected has arrived. The second scene of the day is especially beautiful when Ha-jin carries Dae-rin on his back, walking in the rain. He asked gruffly. The guy from Seoul probably can't stand this kind of rain, right? It's just an excuse, but Jae-rin really feels moved. The girl buried her face in Ha-jin's neck to avoid melting like cotton candy. The whole film crew seemed to be engulfed in the sweetness of the lovebirds, without turning off the camera or calling cut. Director Du is waiting to borrow memories to sort out emotions. It is a scene so beautiful that no eloquent words can describe it. If they intentionally wanted to film special scenes like this, they might not be able to. After reaching the end of Donggut Street, I realized it was already past the time. He put her down and asked, "Hey, has the crew wrapped up yet?" The director was too busy thinking about the future blockbuster to give the cue. Then the film crew took a break, and this rain made the old man like Diut feel completely worn out. No one understands Cam as well as director Yu, but if the rain keeps pouring like this, the movie's going to have trouble. More than anything, old Diut is in big trouble. When the wife sees that scrawny, soaking body, she's bound to blow up. Let's move past that to lessen the pain. Diut asked the director for some feedback on today's shoot. In his opinion, it's perfect. Even the kid's voice is fine without any dubbing. Truly the mark of director Du. However, Du shook his head saying no, which was exactly what director Choi said. Director Choi is a lighting director. He said the boy named Dong-gut used natural light to artificial light very well, so there was no need to increase the brightness. Du agreed, and the more Du spun, the more curious he became. Dong-gut really is who? The best thing about the rain is not having to shoot in the park, so the old man Dayut suggested we have another drink. Why is the director Du suddenly busy again? That guy had a few things to say to screenwriter Choi and Seon. Dayut now realizes that he finally remembers Tak Choi, making the young man startled. Du quickly explained that they were just friends and had a few questions about the script. Dute pouted and suggested the director step away from the job. I know he's trying hard because it's tough to focus on anything else in this cycle. But the more you run forward, the more things are left behind. The old man's seemingly rambling words, often nagged by his wife, made Du think quite a lot. Was about to say something when Dayut noticed more. The old man sincerely advised to ask Dong-gut for some skills, or else you'll turn into a ghost spinning cobwebs. Actually, the young man is being given a hard time. The girl kept asking if you had eaten and if you were cold. Literally annoying. Dong-gut couldn't understand why she kept asking. He immediately started a conversation with another question about his mother to find an excuse to send her away. Who would have thought her mom went with the ants and now she's here? It seems like this girl is a bit slow in her movements compared to her body actions. Dong-gut understands how to escape that awkward humma ha 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 ha. Now he's with a famous actor he never met in his previous life. I still remember telling my friends that when we entered the film industry, we would all act with Don-soo when we were young. Anyone even aware that the one they've always wished for is here, performing with you? Naturally, the little girl now questioned with flushed cheeks why Dong-gut could perform so well. The first thing Dong-gut is concerned about is why she called him cow. Honestly, even without considering their past life age, there's still quite an age gap between the two. But since she's well taken care of, she's about as tall as Dong-gut. Seeing him silent, the little girl naturally sat down beside him and continued the conversation. In her previous life, she started her career as a child actor and later became a true star. She wasn't forced by her parents like other kids, which was indeed a kind of luck. Don-soo truly loves the job. But considering the current time, there is a huge difference between the two people. Little Don-soo started swaying and confessed to hating himself for not having the voice of Busan and Se-eun, as well as the director's fondness for Dong-gut. No matter how hard she tries to remember the script, it's still not good enough. Even though she's insecure, she looks really cute. At this moment, Dong-gut pointed to the pine tree over there for Don-soo. Every pine tree looks different. Some grow tall while others spread their branches and remain short. But they all reach for the sky, no matter which direction they face. And the acting was just as good. No need to memorize the script, just act as you feel. One day Dong-gut Tin Don-soo will find himself in that story. Walking on a path, don't turn sideways. As soon as he finished speaking, the young man felt goosebumps because he sounded like an old man. Who knew Don-soo would change the way he addressed me, making it more familiar and showing extreme excitement. The dong has not yet loaded in time. The girl was happy with Dong-gut's metaphor, like a pine tree standing tall in the sun, so she would perform the way she wanted. Don-soo was extremely curious about who taught him that. Dong-guk thought it was best to lie because he didn't have an acting coach. If he did, he figured he would have already made a name for himself at that uncertain age in his previous acting life. Above all, Mr. Maechuk Noi Ban-chung was very pleased to be called An by Don-soo. The girl showed a beaming face and started guessing the school that An Dong-gut often attended. But the schools it mentions are all special schools for child actors in Seon. Curiosity drives efforts to perform better, making Dong-gut chuckle, but the girl doesn't understand why he's laughing. But you can't talk about a place you've never been to with her. So Dong-gut mentioned Nam-han. That was truly the background of a child actor, Dong-gut. Nam-han is also the only place that holds both the joys and sorrows of life. In that land, there are also some truly amazing people. The mayor Nam-han, during the monthly council meeting, mentioned the boy working with his mother at the Dong-gut fish stall. On the other hand, everyone living in Nam-han knows about the passionate delivery service for mothers, even to the point of losing their voice. Exactly, that's what the mayor wants to talk about today. People immediately became curious about what was happening with the child. After the adjustments, he proposed to the young talent that if he made it into the top 10 at school, they could raise funds and pay his tuition, which would be great. Most people miraculously agreed, and one aunt thought that charging each person 10,000 won would be reasonable. Seeing everyone in support, Mayor Bak was very pleased. Suddenly, an older man stood up and suggested a better idea, saying the kid is currently acting in a movie, and since they're also residents of Namhan, why not prepare a grand feast for the film crew? Everyone approved it too, but they'll do both to make sure the fruit seller doesn't get into trouble, okay? But if we throw a party, won't the whole market be a bit thoughtless and hinder the filming? However, the mayor agreed on preparing food. Everyone needs to eat anyway. The mayor spoke so well that everyone immediately started preparing for their veteran fish seller kid. Looking back, it's been a while since this lady last saw Mrs. Donggut, even though she often buys fish from her. The kid's mom worked tirelessly without taking a single second to rest. At that moment, she understood why Ko was so diligent and honest. Entirely for that child. As a mother, she felt empathy. You should prepare a really grand meal this time. Returning to the set of the movie August Man, today's scene is set in a Western-style house from the Japanese colonial era. After the country gained independence, it was used as an inn. Because of the size of the house, the length of the garden, and the adequate number of rooms, that is where people find simple peace. Dinner had only passed for a few minutes, and Hajin had already put down his spoon. His mom found it strange that the boy stopped eating, so she urged him. But it shoved her hand away. The harsh attitude and bitter words began to criticize the food his mother cooked. Hachin refused to eat this pig slop. The boy angrily screamed at his mother, accusing her of treating him like a pig with the way she cooked the food. As for her son's arrogance and rebellion, she didn't know what to do. The neighbors asked for quiet because the kid was too loud, and they need to get some rest so they can work tomorrow and earn money to pay the rent. In the end, after all that cursing, Mom still didn't utter a word of reproach. Hachin decided to leave immediately, just left the room and vented his anger on the surrounding objects like a way to keep his sanity. She stayed completely silent in the room when she heard her son got into a fight and was insulted by the neighbors. The whole room was so terrifyingly lonely that her frail shoulders trembled. Right at this moment, director Ju called for a cut. The scene ends in a single take. Doot noticed that Du seemed to really enjoy this scene. Well, it made sense. The production team had found a perfect house, and there was no need to cut any shots. From the frame to the characters. Suddenly, the actor Bat came to find the director to ask a few questions. She wants to ask about the details of eating barley and beans in the script to survive. It's a bit exaggerated because 20 years ago at least there were bowls to eat from. Just as Donggut nearby also heard it, director Du has yet to understand the intention behind the part that writer Choi added. She interviewed people who lived during that time and wrote it in a historical documentary style. I tried to resize it, but it didn't seem right. However, Donggut interrupted and told everyone that it wasn't exaggerated at all. Your idea is that if we're talking about the 80s, it's just a bit of an exaggeration. No matter whether the boy's words are right or wrong, actor Bat still criticizes him first, questioning why a child, who knows nothing, would interrupt and speak in an adult's place. Donggut questioned whether Ko had enough knowledge about the people living in the inn, who had to mix noodles with fish every day. Sometimes they wander around all day, unable to find any food due to hunger. Even if I wanted to eat the fish I sell, I couldn't manage to. That was the experience of Donggut and his mother for their lives. At that time, you hated your mom mixing other dishes into ramen and refused her many times because you couldn't swallow it. But that face always calms Donggut's mood because she constantly worries about being evicted by the landlord. Senior Songbat, still not giving up, asked Donggut, "How can those people still live at the inn? It's not free either." This girl, from her perspective, understood and assumed that renting a small room would be easier than staying in a hostel. But the response was a confusing question from Donggut, who is protecting her. The boy didn't look at the other person but continued speaking as if questioning himself when mentioning the mothers. They live in an inn full of fishermen, which isn't easy for a frail widow mother. They still chose it because they could save money and live in a cozy place. They do everything just to hope for 10,000 francs and to send their son to school. The more Dongguk spoke, the more emotional he became because he was talking about his mother. Not someone distant. Surely no one here has ever experienced the pain of watching their mother endure hardship, just to save enough money to buy a uniform for them. After calming down, Donggut realized he had overreacted and reined himself in. Director Du then approached him and asked gently, "How do you know these things?" The boy's eyes turned wistful as he confessed to everyone that both his mother and he had been living that way. The actor Bat once said the boy was an ungrateful child who constantly startled his mother. At that time, she clearly said the boy could play the rude role with his mother because he was like that in real life. Even in a drunken state, when sober, I still realize just how terrible I am. The atmosphere feels so tense the director urges everyone to pack up and go have dinner. Hearing about food, Lao Dot showed up right away. He was worried no one would deliver at this hour if everyone wanted to eat on set, but Du Lao De assured that Mother Donggut would cook and bring the food. The boy himself hasn't heard this news yet. Du chuckled and winked at the boy, hinting that he'd understand soon enough. The entire film crew cheered and clapped for Mei Donggut, but he wasn't happy because how could Mei cook dinner for so many people? At dinner, it was a surprise that everyone in the market showed up and threw a lavish party for the film crew. All the aunts and uncles came too. Dong-gut is still traumatized, unable to accept the fact that everyone is preparing dinner together. This fragile, stone-cold heart has once again been warmed. Not long ago you were all fired up, wanting to ask your mom the truth about this. But as soon as I got to the alley, it wasn't just me but also other uncles and aunts. Mr. Choi knew the boy was worried about his mother working alone, so he rushed over here. However, that's incorrect. The whole point here is to help. Dong-gut, embarrassed, lowered his head and thanked the adults for helping his mother. His emotions were a chaotic mess at the moment. Just then, Mr. Choi and the director interrupted the child's wandering thoughts and urged the lead actor to raise his glass. The guilt of Dong-gut seemed to vanish in an instant. All tonight everyone will join in a toast for Nam-han. They are happy because this kid, even when acting in films, never forgets his roots. And they are proud because the boy is the first in Nam-han to escape the fish market by becoming an actor. Mom, Dong-gut is just like her, always beside his son to give him motivation and sweet praise. This is the precious thing that the genius actor Dong-gut lost in a previous life. You really want to protect this life of mother and me. Some people are out partying while poor scriptwriter Choi is aging fast. She's still in a daze right now. At that time, the director Do said on the phone like this. Turns out Dong-gut has been a talented actor since reading the script. Scriptwriter Choi agreed. Ha-jin seemed to step out from that story when reading the script, but not sure when acting. Then Do suddenly suggested giving the emotional part to Dong-gut for acting, making her scream loudly in the middle of the street. Roughly, the reason is that the emotionally draining scene is so difficult that even adults struggle with it, so it would be a big risk for that child actor. But for you, go with your gut, try it out, and the final decision will be up to the screenwriter. That's why the screenwriter is in an all-or-nothing situation. The director allowed Ko to watch a rough cut directed by Dong-gut. All the boy's emotions were incredibly genuine as he transformed into an embarrassed son because of his mother. Then that spontaneous action, which wasn't in the script, was fully recorded, leaving the screenwriter completely surprised. After dinner, the film crew continued shooting in the evening, but actor Song couldn't perform further because he felt tired. The boy Dong-gut played the role of a devoted caretaker for his uncle. Seeing you always so insecure, Dong-gut encouraged you not to take all the blame. In fact, more than anyone, he understands the fear of accidentally making even a small mistake. If you keep messing up, all the scenes might have to be scrapped or rewritten. In a past life, rookie Dong-gut was the same, so I sincerely want to offer you some advice. At least someone who's trying like this should be helped. The climax begins with remarks about his voice and performance in front of the camera. But that's not the point. The key is who the uncle is playing. Senior, based on the props and lines, thought he would be a drunkard who beats his wife and is a fisherman, but he was wrong. He was utterly bewildered and had to double-check the script. The reaction is not surprising because the script doesn't provide any explanation for the character, so he can't understand the character's past yet. Dong-gut reminded him to think about the drunkard's clothes, his voice, and his legs. Why would he think that person would have a half-empty soju bottle in hand? The senior boldly guessed that they probably picked up the bottle from someone who had left it behind because they couldn't afford to buy one. The answer is half correct, half incorrect, sir. Dong-gut revealed that earlier in Dong-do there were only corpses. People lost their lives at sea, some lost their homes and loved ones they couldn't return to, and they would jump into the sea themselves. Empty bottles around the main pier are soju meant for the departed souls, and they have another reason to jump into the sea to reunite with their loved ones. Suddenly Dong-gut stopped. If it's about dying for someone, you know better than anyone else. Senpai finally felt it. The truth is, that's how it goes. But not many would be sad if an actor like you, who messed up in a past life, disappeared. Next, Dong-gut suggested how the senior should act. First, he was drunk, but he didn't bully just because he wanted money. He also wanted to vent his anger. That scene hasn't been filmed yet, but you can see in part 3 a scene with kids collecting and selling empty bottles around the dock, and when adults saw them, they yelled at the kids because of soju's many implications. This is the lesson that Dong-gut was taught by his predecessor in a previous life. You should learn to look beyond the script. Knowing for sure that he had lifted his spirits, he left. Everything else depends on the director's vision and how cleverly the script is used. But the glowing eyes behind her gave her goosebumps. That girl still hasn't grown tired and keeps following persistently. When asked, she said it was nothing, and then pulled out a chocolate bar. Dong-gut happily accepted it. He never touched sweets before, but this life will be different. On the other hand, the young man was quite curious, wondering why the girl was still here after the call ended, but she turned it around and said, "You're still here too, aren't you? The important thing is she wants to question you about why you lied last time. There's no acting school called Nam-han." The girl's sassy nature made the guy, who'd been through dozens of tet cakes and rarely interacted with girls, giggle. The kid just wanted to know the school you attend to improve her skills, so she wore a flimsy dress in the windy seaside area. Dong-gut took off his coat with great delicacy and draped it over the little girl. Even though it's just a good thing, it looks like this little one has already fallen for you. Dong-gut felt okay, but he had something to say. He knew she came because she realized his purpose in coming here, but Dong-gut wasn't rude enough to dismiss someone as curious as himself. The reason you noticed is because she loves acting. However, Don-soo confessed he wasn't here because he loved acting. Naturally, the noisy studio drowned out the rest, making it impossible to hear the second half. The scene with the two adult actors went on for quite a while, to the point where the actor, an unknown like Song, felt a bit scared. But having daily motivation and encouragement like this is just perfect. He was so happy and extremely proud of Dong-gut. Even Bai could see that the actor Song Kia seemed like a completely different person after the break. Do agreed with BD after watching the footage. Then he called him over. The uncle turned pale with fear when the director suddenly singled him out. Who knew you were overthinking it? They just wanted to ask a few questions. Curious if during your break you found any inspiration that changed your acting style so much, or if you've always been like this and were just teasing earlier. Talking about death, even if Uncle Song is old, he wouldn't dare mess with the director. Seeing such a reaction, Du quickly reassured him that everything was just a joke. Afterward, everything was reported in full detail. Du never expected an untrained person like Song to have such potential. He's much better than Du Tuong expected. He can understand the character and perform it with full effort and experience. Actors like that deeply move the director. This isn't an unexpected change, it's acting experience that's just being revealed. However, at this moment Song confessed to the director, "The advice you've been giving all along is from Dong-gut." He once thought acting was just about reading the script well and understanding emotions, but when he took Dong-gut's advice, that despair in acting disappeared. The kid asked who the character would be, and then when he said how much this role meant, actor Song was further motivated, and he realized that his role wasn't that of an anonymous drunkard, but a man who has only one life to live. Dong-gut takes the director from one surprise to another. The boy can understand supporting characters like an experienced person. How well did May understand the script after all? As for the actress playing Ha-jin's mother, she is still struggling with the schedule, script, and makeup. Ko has the talent and ability to the extent that it overwhelms everyone in the makeup team. Then she started reviewing the script because it was something she didn't understand. She needed to make May Ha-jin wither day by day, but she couldn't grasp the character's emotions like the theater. Actors did. When the main character changes their attitude, the other actors also have to adjust their emotions, and this is the first time Bat Danang has played such a haggard character. This reminded her of Dong-gut. Even though it was just a small role, she truly transformed into Ha-jin in front of the camera. Such a talent she couldn't overlook, so she hurriedly made a call. The person on the other end of the line is Mr. Kim, and she asked them to come to Dongdo right now. Then suddenly she was suspected of fighting with the director, which made her even more frustrated. Just go to Dongdo, you talk too much. Do you think she's a troublemaker or something? After calming down, Kobat revealed that there was an actor that Mr. Kim needed to see. Must come immediately even if you're an amateur. However, this person keeps making appointments and then cancels them, which is really frustrating. She warned him to stop making a fuss and come here before the shooting ended. The boss is always thinking about pumpkins. Already looking for talent, that kid is truly reliable, and he's definitely someone who can create the right environment for the boy to develop his skills. But will Mr. Kim recognize Dong-gut's talent? The other side, the young man was too tired when going to the bathroom, and even Don-soo followed him. It's like you've got a cute little sister, but she's so different from the talented actress you used to know. A kid follows at all costs, regardless of gender. But the girl is following Dong-gut's advice to immerse herself in the character and try to become Daerin. In the movie, Daerin always likes Ha-jin. Even though he didn't mind, he wished the group wouldn't look at them like two lovebirds flirting. Dong-gut was confused, so he looked for a topic to sneak out of here. You go buy breakfast for Don-soo and take care of the little one like a younger sister. This kid eats so well that their face has become absolutely adorable. But the sophistication of Dong-gut has exceeded the allowable limit. The kid was burning up, so I gave him the tasty piece of food right away. Dong-gut teasing little Kim Ha-jin, what will she do, right? These two would definitely go viral if social media were popular back then. Young people who've been around for decades don't really feel anything. It was simply teasing, and at that moment Dong-gut noticed that Senior Bat was also getting into character. Everyone discovers new things when they perform. If she can feel it, she will gain more recognition. The fiery gaze of Dong-gut made Bat seriously aware. You can feel that something has changed. Sometimes Sudan becomes very gentle. This side of her has been quite surprising during the last few shoots. At the village organized party, Bat Ma Men came back to life and asked who made these delicious dishes. Mom Dong-gut raised her hand as if taking attendance because that was her secret recipe. Then she poured another bowl for Miss Bate. The mother of Dong-gut is truly gentle, always kind to everyone, especially her son's colleagues. Now Ko finally realized and sobered up completely when he found out it was Dong-gut's mother. The girl finally felt guilty for the harsh words she had spoken. The image of the lady floating high in the clouds is lost somewhere. Dong-gut found it very strange. The most fun part is that the special dish the young men devoured was made from a few fat frogs. His face was greenish like a frog's skin. She tried to steer the conversation by asking how long Dong-gut had been raising the mother frog to suppress her nausea and fear. Her son giggled, revealing a small secret to his senior from way back in the day. Then it's over. This senior definitely doesn't want to be outsmarted by this kid, but can't help it anymore. Thinking back, Dong-gut laughed heartily. Who would have thought she would enjoy her mother's cooking so much? Ms. Bat suddenly felt a chill down her spine, so she asked Lai and the two kids to stand here and play. Ha! Why are you laughing? Finally, this older sister has settled in. Not the unapproachable lady anymore, huh? Dong-gut guessed that if both of them ignored her, she'd be really mad. Suddenly, Dong-gut seriously warned that there's a frog over there, causing the famous bowl to shatter, ruining the whole image. Right at this moment, a quarrel broke out on Director Yu's side. The conversation seemed to revolve around a very dangerous scene, so Dong-gut rewound to check. That's scene 36, where Kim Ha-jin jumps off the cliff. Actually, there's a simple way to solve this problem for everyone in the group. The director was determined to use real people instead of a stand-in, because this scene required a lot of emotion. The powerful dog De-ut strongly opposed. He had spent years with the camera, so he understood those things. But why do something so dangerous with a child? Du was extremely stubborn, insisting that being careful was enough. He believed there was a safer way to shoot this scene. De-ut was helpless. The solution he offered to move the work forward was to use spray shots instead of fewer shots. The two children saw their seniors raising their voices, so little Donsu got scared. They probably won't fight because of the dance scene. But that was the scene where Kim Ha-jin jumped off the cliff to dive. Due to the recent scarcity of fish, the boy had to spend a lot of time going into the forest and down to the sea. Suddenly realized that he was very familiar with this place. He was confident that if he chose the places he had visited in his previous life with a few low rock outcrops during those times, he skipped school, everything would be resolved. The water here is not strong but instead feels like a warm hug from Ba Han. The scenery in the ocean is endlessly beautiful, and the bay is very shallow. It was also a way that former students of Dong-gut used to seek comfort when there was no Ba. So Dong-gut definitely doesn't need a stunt double. Suddenly the boy took off his shirt, leaving little Donsu to see a male body for the first time in his life, which startled him a bit. Who would have thought that the older brother smiled mysteriously and asked the girl to watch over his belongings and shoes? The kid couldn't even process it yet, my goodness. Then Dong-gut caught the attention of the two uncles who were arguing. At the same time, the entire film crew held their breath because of the little boy. The boy ran straight to the distant rock, then skillfully used the momentum to jump with the target being the sea surface. Du and Kobat, in utter panic, rushed to the boy. But it was quicker than a beat under the water. They must be really shocked, but Dong-gut feels fine. This place always makes the seaside village boy feel more peaceful than ever, and always want to do this since returning. While the little one enjoys below, Du is almost out of breath above because the boy won't come up. Just at that moment the kid popped up and waved his hand, saying it was a lot of fun down there and the water felt amazing. Knowing this is for the sake of acting, but it's like terrifying old men with weak hearts. Now it's fine if they know you can fully act out this scene, just add some emotion, and it's perfect. The demon bull suddenly turned on its furious mode and yelled at the little demon to get ashore and face the consequences. This moment is too late to be afraid, DM. They then drove the canoe across the farthest ends of the bay here. De-ut suggested Du should take a photo here because it's quite beautiful, and even better, when they mentioned the name Dong-gut in South Korea, everyone was eager to help. All thanks to the captain too. Now the scene 57 on the boat heading to the sea officially begins. Mom Ha-jin held an empty soju bottle, told her son to greet his dad, but the boy snapped and started cursing at her. The phrases "child of the sea" make him feel extremely nauseous. He's not a kid anymore. The excessive maturity, always hidden inside with a few strong words, causes this mother immense pain. She hugged the soju bottle to offer a prayer and reminisced about her husband, whispering to that lonely man about her busy, challenging life. "Our son has grown up," she said, tears streaming down as she shared the news with her husband. If the husband could see it, that would really be the best thing. Ha-jin, still keeping that cold, rebellious look, was ultimately scared his mother might fall apart as her emotions were in turmoil. It grabbed the soju bottle and let itself do the work. A boy can hide so much under that tough exterior. The answer is a lot, not like a mother who can cry and say everything. If he becomes weak, then mom will have no one to lean on emotionally anymore. "Today did you also bring apples for dad?" He loves apples so much that Ha-jin threw an apple into the sea. The salty smell of the sea began to mix with the tears of a rebellious teenager who hadn't received enough love from his father. The tear marked the end of the scene on the ship today. When the director called cut, everyone sighed in relief. Ha-jin scattered his father's ashes by the cliff. He held those ashes and began mumbling in disbelief that his father left so quickly. The boy kept questioning his father in vain, hoping his father would answer. But everything is just nonsense. Ha-jin found his father's death absurd, dying because of work like this. Viewers in the studio all agreed the final scene was top-notch, even though they had changed the script. And it's really sad that after this movie they couldn't see Dong-gut again. Especially in the final scene, there's CIO from the company Song-kwan observing as well. He was startled and gently reminded everyone not to disturb others while filming. This is Mr. Kim in the phone call that Miss Bat insisted must come. This morning, young man Kim-nae went to see a fortune teller. So what does it have to do with going all the way to Dongdo to watch the filming? In reality, Kim often visits fortune tellers whenever he's hesitant. The fortune teller knew he came to discuss business because there was no other reason for him to wear such a sharp suit unless he was trying to charm her. The old shaman's reasoning made Lao Kim certain she was quite skilled. But she looked a bit uncomfortable, and began observing Kim's appearance, then said he would be betrayed by a co-worker due to his weakness in management. He was momentarily dazed. The shaman's point is not to trust people too much if you don't want to be betrayed in the upcoming task. He confidently asked the shaman if he could meet that person. Indeed, she is very talented. She realized that the customer wanted to meet a child, and it was very noble. However, working together might need to be reconsidered. She suddenly raised 3 fingers, then seriously informed the customer that 30 minutes are over. Please come back in 3 months. Now he's standing here with no additional information. Is this child really as noble as she says? Or is Ha-jin still struggling with his own pain? Now he's all alone. His father is off somewhere he enjoys casting nets for fish, and his mother is resting peacefully beside him. Both of you don't worry about it anymore. Even my mom chose that way. The boy cried his heart out when no one was left by his side. He hoped that once his mother was with his father, she would wear the new shoes instead of the old ones, not push herself too hard, and not think about this useless child. In the next life, he wished she wouldn't be his mother again. Living a life of suffering is enough. Now mom must take dad's hand and rest in peace. That would be the best choice. The boy's tears moved everyone here. Kim himself also read this part of the script and always remembers it because it's a particularly difficult scene. But if a child can perform this scene without any issues, then it must be the one. Just finished filming, everyone noticed the presence of CIO, the Song-kwan company. The author Choi is also present because today is the final scene for this young actor. All the attention and regret focused on that child. Actually, at first they were quite hesitant about this final scene. The initial plan was to use an adult stunt double, but at the last minute, screenwriter Choi wanted Dong-gut to perform as soon as he saw the boy. And even more surprising, the scene where Dong-gut is given wasn't the edited one. She just told the boy that he could cry if he wanted to, and just cry without saying anything else. Both directors Do and Mr. Kim were surprised. Even veteran actors would avoid performing scripts they hadn't read beforehand. What impressed writer Choi the most was when I handed them the latest script. They smiled excitedly and accepted the challenge. It was as if the boy had been waiting for those words to come out of the scriptwriter Choi's mouth. After the final scene of Dong-gut wrapped up and the first part ended, the boy returned to his usual daily routine. Everyone is sure the kid will grow up to be a businessman. Just in time, while pushing the fish cart, a customer blocked the way. This kitten seems to have a big belly, so Dong-gut guesses it might be pregnant. Then, instead of chasing it away, he grabbed a fresh fish so it would spit out the junk like rotten fish. The cat is still quite wary of strangers. It grabbed the fish and ran off immediately. The cat left, and then another guest came looking. That was Mr. Kim wanting to chat with Dong-gut for a bit. Both walked into a special cafe to start the conversation more naturally, but the kid's behavior made Kim feel like he was sitting with an old soul. The Dong-gut gang called this customer Namhan Coffee Pork Specialty. Now let's get to the main point. Lao Kim made an offer to continue performing after the August boy finishes. Unfortunately, the boy isn't acting anymore. It's just this time he needed money, so he acted. Kim guessed that might not be the only reason. Because he saw the potential in the boy, he confidently stated that Dong-gut is very talented and would become more famous than anyone if he became an actor. However, that doesn't mean anything. There are many child actors in Korea, and their fees are also very low. Besides, you're still a student, and can't just leave your mother to travel around the country. Like that. He thinks everything can be worked out if the boy joins the company. Dong-gut sighed wearily at his stubbornness, but he told him that if he could pay him the price of a small room in Dorngo, he would reconsider. And you also said not to think money can do everything. But from the position of a company, it's naturally very different, so you will consider the future of the actor if the company can afford that amount. Old Kim never expected the negotiation to take this turn. While he was still in a daze, Dong-gut asked to leave because there was still a lot of work to do at the market. Watching the boy's silhouette fade away, the man was sure Matt Jong-gut had a great passion for acting. Although young, the will and spirit are remarkably steadfast. He wondered if he had been talking to anyone this whole time. While the mayor and everyone else gathered and brought the only TV in the village out here. Today, mother and son Donggut are also here with a whole chicken to celebrate, and surprisingly, the shaman lady Lao Gim trusted is also here. Finally, after catching the signal, the TV turned on. And today is the premiere of the movie Donggut just finished. You think you've already made some unforgettable memories. This is the end of your acting passion and Donggut wants to retire. The words of that person kept echoing, repeating in my ears. It makes your intentions waver without you even realizing it. Putting everything aside, the movie begins with the first episode. The August Boy is a simple title about a man named Ha Chin and his everyday life from childhood to adulthood. That kid is just like a real-life Donggut. Neither Mr. Kim nor anyone else will ever understand his feelings, and no matter what, he won't repeat the mistakes of his past life. The next day he came back. He suddenly appeared, startling her. He actually went ahead and prepared the money that Donggut mentioned. More than anything, he initially planned to transfer money to her bank account, but thought it would be better to send cash since her family runs a business. Donggut was completely shocked by his uncle's sudden flatness. He's obsessed, willing to do whatever it takes to recruit you. Next comes the string of days the August Boy premieres. Just by watching the trailer, you can tell this is an incredibly dramatic movie. Since this is the first project by a famous director and screenwriter Choi, the television station is putting in a lot of effort. The final episode of the drama Donggut is still vivid in my memory. Screenwriter Choi said he wants you in this scene, and if you're not confident, he'll send the script back for review. At that moment, the confident boy replied firmly that he would try and started filming. Kim Ha-chin in the script is quite similar to you, and the mother is the bond between the two boys Donggut and Ha-chin. Both wondered why they cared for this troubled child at the expense of themselves, why they endured so much criticism, yet still wished for the child's happiness. Donggut wanted to ask his mother what she thought when she saw his award ceremony in the hospital, if she was angry at the child who didn't come to see her until the very last moment, if she was sad, felt betrayed, or even hated him. Not sure if it was because she felt the emotions of her child in that movie, but Mother Donggut burst into tears. She kept smiling so everyone would know she was fine, and these tears were tears of joy at seeing her son in love. The hand that wanted to comfort the boy's mother paused for a moment. Actually, in a place where Donggut didn't know her in a previous life, she proudly introduced her son on TV to the nurses in the hospital. The little boy is always a source of pride in her eyes. Donggut asked her if her mother was happy that day. But her answer is always that she's happy because you like it. The desire Mr. Kim mentioned is just like your mother now. How ironic that it turns out he understands you better than you do yourself. And right after that, a congratulatory banner for Donggut was hung neatly at the market gate. The young man, who had never been to a market rally before, was completely shocked. Everyone in the market has already seen the movie that was shown yesterday, so they keep coming to praise the boy. Mother Donggut is really happy because her son loves it. Just as she noticed a stranger in the distance. The man who was sneaking around, someone she had never seen before. As for the thief, it is none other than old Kim. I knew Donggut was popular, but I didn't expect it to this extent. What if another company noticed the boy first? And that dashing appearance made me Donggut suddenly remember that he was the CEO who came with the money last time. The old lady quickly informed the boy that the CEO from before was coming to see him. The boy's eyes turned fierce and menacing. Seeing her son deliberately ignore him, she wondered if he was from a TV station. Donggut chuckled and said, "Mom, that's just someone I haven't met. In this world, there are 3 types of entertainment companies. Sai-io the swindler, a businessman, or an artist. And he is more than just an artist. You had no idea about that when you met at the coffee shop, but after looking it up a bit, it became clear. When Donggut was still playing a minor role in his past life, there was a feeling he couldn't forget at the TV station. It was the news about CEO of Songwon Entertainment Company being arrested for embezzlement. Afterward, he was exonerated, and the corrupt person turned out to be his partner. However, that person had already fled, leaving Mr. Kim to take the blame. The damage was so great that the place that trained all the famous actors collapsed in an instant. A few celebrities wanted to help him but were turned down. And then one day he completely disappeared. You really want to tell him, but explaining that it happens in the future is the hard part. Moreover, you don't stand a chance because Donggut already turned him down again. The boy couldn't believe a CEO would bring that much money to the market, and he certainly wasn't planning to act anymore. Mr. Kim is extremely stubborn. Once he sees someone's talent, he won't let go. No matter what, Donggut stays firm in his decision. They were about to say more when that day their mother accidentally caught both of them. Mom is the key factor in every decision of Donggut. He warned sharply, not to come here again. That's what No said when she turned him down at the previous meeting reeking of capitalism. If you keep doing this, he probably wouldn't be crazy enough to come here after being insulted. Man proposes but heaven disposes. The boy's mom was quite kind since she noticed he'd been at the market since early morning, so she figured he probably hadn't eaten yet. So she invited the gentleman to have some fish and continue the conversation. The young man hid behind the glowing orange crate while Donggut was still clueless. So Mr. Kim became the second person to join the Donggut household and have a meal. He looked so excited, which was annoying. Just one spoonful, and he immediately started gushing about how delicious it was. His habit is just like when he drinks Korean tea with an egg yolk added. Mom Donggut proudly tells guests about the origin of the dish prepared by the boy's grandmother. This is also the first time Donggut heard his mother talk about his grandmother and the origin of this dish. Till now, Mom Donggut still cooks dishes by replacing sugar with sweet potatoes because we couldn't afford it. Kim's heart grew a little quieter. He got straight to the point and asked her directly if she thought Donggut would continue acting. His mother was completely stunned, and she did not know how to respond yet. It's like this bowl of soup. Grandma Donggut made it because she wanted to give her a meal no matter how tough life gets. So she turned to ask her son if he enjoyed the performance. Indeed, he had prepared a standard mechanical response. But no one understands you better than your mom. She looked at the child with a painful gaze and wondered if the child was living a miserable life because of this terrible mother. Donggut wants to say that he has already seen it. Want to tell mom about the end of the road he pursued as an actor? Suddenly, while the son was still overwhelmed with worry, she hugged him tightly and promised to be his support no matter what he did. She realized after watching the movie that this mother would be happy if her son could do what he truly wanted. And that's why she wanted her little child to keep pursuing the path it longed for. It turns out mom knew from the beginning that you always lie. Donggut tightened around her frail back. Will everything be okay if I wish for happiness for myself one more time? Could I hold this hand again if we could go through it one more time? All questions are like crossroads for Donggut. In the end, actor Donggut will agree to return to the film industry, making Mr. Kim delighted. But the condition is, the contract will be signed only when Mr. Kim gives you a project that you genuinely like. She is truly proud of this son. For Donggut, he wasn't sure if this was the right choice, but for his mother's smile, this son will strive to be happy without fear. There is something I haven't told you about the 13-year-old girl when Donggut shot the final scene of the movie. That young man talked about Namhan but forgot to mention it's a fish market, and he's definitely a fish seller. This time, my mom was also the one who noticed the visitors coming to see her son. Dansu's face shows he's already annoyed. The kid is upset because this older brother didn't even bother to check out the scene she had finished filming. Donggut seemed indifferent. He knew but didn't come to check, which made No really upset. The reason is you're selling fish, isn't that reasonable? It's the season for Bomray, so you're really busy. The little one, feeling deeply hurt, whispered softly to Donggut. This is my last shoot, so I hope you will rest and come with me. It's a shame this brother is too serious, not a 10-year-old child. Then Donggut kept selling fish, leaving the little one feeling lost. Two parents were talking when Miguk noticed that the boy had once again abandoned the girl. Then the little one got upset, screamed, and ran off so fast that her mom couldn't react in time. Not sure what Donggut is thinking, but he looks pretty gloomy. A few days later, you continued going to school as usual after the break, with your mind constantly thinking about Jeonsu. The rarely attending friend finally came to school and started asking about the movie Donggut starred in. Then other friends also came to greet in a strange way. Little girl, I don't get why the girls are acting so weird today. The movie seems to be off to a smooth start. The teacher kept protesting as if he had lost his ration book, announcing that the class had a student ranked third in the entire school. That is Donggut. In the end, the teacher turned out to be the only savior who rescued the young man from the swarm of fanatics in the class, as he was both a famous actor and the top student in the school. In the principal's office, the teacher asked Donggut if he was satisfied with his grades this time. The answer was, of course, no. Donggut feels like he's been liberated from his previous overacting by the scores, so he wants to achieve more. Then suddenly even the teacher brought up the movie to compare how you two talk in real life versus in the film. Thoi Tuong, even the teacher is a die-hard fan of Kim Ha-jin. The budding child actor from Namhan seems to have finished this time, avoiding one pitfall only to encounter another. Donggut, though just a high school student, has the mindset of a middle-aged person, truly unsure of what to do when receiving so much attention that was never there before. Students followed Donggut all the way to the market to work. The boy's mom felt a bit embarrassed when she saw his friend arrive, worried that her son might feel awkward in front of his classmate. Suddenly, memories flooded back. He had once been embarrassed by his mother and never brought friends to the market, nor did he want to go there too often. So to be honest, this is the first time, and seeing that mom isn't comfortable, you thought about inviting your friends to leave. These kids are really worth every penny. Both mother and child were forced to take pictures before they had time to adapt. And this fish market has been famous since Donggut became popular, attracting many uninvited guests. A man stood at the opposite corner of the fruit stand, holding a file and mumbling, "Found it." Moreover, it seems that thanks to the effect of the movie, they are too busy to take a break. Another guest arrived, so Donggut warmly welcomed them. But the person handed over the file to him and bowed his head, hoping for acceptance. the young man said, trembling with excitement because he loved the movie that this guy starred in. Indeed, being famous comes with unexpected surprises. The file is a movie script. The guy earlier, Donggut, is probably a film student, which is why he brought this script. The name Choi Tae-seo you still remember clearly. Although he is just an ordinary young man in the present, he will become a successful screenwriter in his past life. Now he seems to prefer directing to writing scripts, right? Mom, ever since she met Mr. Kim, she's been catching his ways too. Donggut wants her to calm down. You read it because An asked. He didn't know if this kid would agree, but he still came all the way to Seo-eun, and was so worried that his hands trembled as he handed over the bag. Those things made Donggut unable to ignore it. Everything that's happened recently has reignited Donggut's inspiration like in a past life, making him relive that moment once again. The young man's heart began to stir. After that, you quickly asked your mother for permission to go to the train station for a bit. Today is exactly the day Donsu departs for Seoul. The girl kept waiting for him, but her heart was heavy because the chances of him coming out were very low. At this moment, a familiar voice echoed. It was him. Donggut rushed over and said he did it. Donggut was always late at every critical moment in his past life, so it's a relief that he's not late this time. Actually, a few minutes earlier when the train arrived, Donsu went with his mother. But suddenly the shoelace came loose. It reminded the girl of her memories of An, like the pine tree he showed her. Like the cup you gave me to ease the tension, like the way he comforted her and made her laugh. He showed her how to overcome fear. Just hold the glass of water, close your eyes, and imagine the scenery of the 4 seasons. You make everything more relaxed and comfortable in such a magical way. That was truly an incredibly joyful memory, and just when it seemed like everything was over, he appeared. It seems that Kim Ha-jin has stepped into real life, only changing her last name when she started caring for the little girl. He tied her shoelaces while explaining that he came here because he suddenly thought of her. He acts like they will never meet again, and above all, the girl knows he will quit acting. Donggut confessed that he lacks the motivation like you, and now he doesn't know if he can perform. Suddenly the child hugged the young man who was feeling insecure. The girl covered his eyes, then whispered, saying, imagine a pine tree standing under the sky. With all due respect, it's clear that you told the child how to act like a tree standing under the sky. Donggut hadn't even reacted when Daeon-soo hugged him tightly. The girl cried until her face turned red, begging him to tell her that they would meet again and promising to become a super famous actress. So please, act the part. Donggut gently soothes the girl. It's true that worrying too much about everything in the future made Donggut forget what he truly wanted, to act. Fortunately, Donsu and Donggut promised they would meet again. Busan bids farewell to Donsu with a hurried shower of rain. His mom also rushed here because her son didn't bring an umbrella. Under the heavy rain loud enough to drown out the boy's voice, she still heard the question about the first time they set up their stall in Namhan. Back then, Ko-jung gave away a lot of plates of food because they couldn't eat that much at Nagwon Temple. Her mood gradually became uneasy, worried about her son, wondering why he suddenly brought up that topic. Actually, this rain isn't bad, that meal isn't bad either, Donggut feels that way. They hugged tightly and slept together. There were tough times, but he doesn't hate remembering them, because there were also beautiful moments with his mother. So now Donggut has made up his mind. He will act, live the life of an actor. He will create many memories with his mother and then change that hopeless ending. A few days later, Donggut returned to his regular work. And today there's a special guest coming to help too. That was the young man Kim, who had to crawl out of the stone kiln at the crack of dawn to retrieve it. Normally he talks so casually, but today his jaws were stiff from the cold. When he got a call from the boy, he felt so grateful because he could continue his acting career. Though it was a bit tough like this. Now, on the street, everyone thinks Donggut looks just like Ha-jin. Since he had the chance, Lau Kim started teasing, "Don't you all know that Kim Ha-jin is right here?" This made Donggut very uncomfortable. Is he that famous or something? Heard that if you have to ask, you're not a true fan. The August Boy is a huge hit, you know? Suddenly mentioning the hit makes you so heated up that you forget the cold, huh? Summary: after the way Mr. Kim said it became so popular that articles about the August Boy were sold out. You can't imagine there were smartphones or YouTube back then, so everything feels so unbelievable. But at the same time, the child actor who also sells fish can sense that the number of people at Namhan Market has increased. Even though I knew it would have some impact later, it's still a bit shocking to see it spread like this. Even if you're a child actor, this is the first time a Donggut has been placed at the center of the main character, not a supporting one. Especially the most unbelievable thing throughout this journey is nothing other than the chatterbox nature of the uncle. Enough said. Donggut handed the script of Mr. Choi to Mr. Kim. Just read it and got overwhelmed? Don't tell me Donggut is planning to join this, right? That's exactly what Ju Kim thought, an independent film project. Mr. Kim sincerely revealed the purpose of making money by acting in movies, which made Donggut embarrassed. You want to work with a sincere heart? An actor wants to perform, not for the money. It's even more of a pure motivation than his glasses. In the end, no one understands how this guy became CEO when he's just a weirdo yelling nonsense. Seriously, you're just trying to respond to those who said, why would you want a kid who's not even a celebrity? Talent is like a wave that changes its course thousands of times a day. This child is stronger than anyone and always creates a unique point of distinction. And Dong-gut couldn't believe that in his eyes, he left such an impression. Right at that moment, the cat from before gave birth to 2 kittens who walked past 2 crazy guys sitting and singing to each other. Actually, today Mr. Kim came here for an important matter. Dong-gut's mother was astonished when she heard that her son had been appointed honorary ambassador for Dongdo. Guess mom's never been this happy when showing her the notice that you ranked 3rd in the whole school. She started bragging to everyone she met. In the end, Dong-gut sees it all falling apart. The rumor will spread throughout the market in just 15 minutes, for sure. But there is one second thing I want to tell you, Mom. CIO signed a contract for an apartment in Dongdo so both of them can rest now. Mom immediately objected, saying it was impossible to accept that. Mother's nature is like that. She often said so when Dong-gut was still a pretty famous actor in his previous life. When he said he would stop selling fish because he would take his mother to a new apartment to enjoy her old age, she said she couldn't. But now you have a reason, and a huge thanks to Mr. Kim earlier too. So now you'll perform really well to repay Uncle Kim, and Mom won't have to work hard anymore. Mom, your job now is to accept it, live happily from now on. The hand you held that day was really calloused. Mom has carried so much her whole life. From now on, your son will be by your side and take care of you, I promise. To begin his promise, Dong-gut had an important call with Mr. Kim. Since you don't have a phone, you'll have to go to the public booth. They plan to meet and finalize with the manager. Because now Dong-gut has accepted the ambassadorship for Dongdo. To be honest, it was a place you despised in your past life, hated the smell of fish that was tied to poverty, and disliked the sea breeze and the songs of the fishermen. Can't believe she's now an ambassador and even has limited edition photo versions. The conversation lasted until the bus arrived. Mr. Kim mentioned before the boy hung up that when he arrives at the city office, there will be many people he likes, so be confident. He really cares about you. Dong-gut began to relax and chat a bit before heading to the city office Dongdo. Initially, you used the silly excuse that CIO said you couldn't become a famous actor without going to the apartment to reassure your mom, but that might not be entirely unreasonable. Mr. Kim was afraid the boy wouldn't accept it, so he tried his best to explain. Ultimately, he wanted the boy to feel at ease, free from the worry of traveling around the country to perform. Even so, if the boy's mother is comfortable, the kid will be able to perform at his best. So he put himself in your shoes and understood it, huh? This took Dong-gut completely by surprise. The young man who was repeatedly rejected by his mother in his previous life because of Lady Mi, suggested that Mr. Kim sign the contract right away. Returning as the future ambassador Gongdu, he arrived at the city office where he hadn't been in 30 years. The host sincerely apologized to the boy for making him wait, but it was because the kid arrived 2 hours early. The boy truly grew up just as imagined, and this guy is also a big fan of the August boy. Dong-gut could only give a wry smile, overwhelmed by the intense pressure when he asked for an autograph and a photo together after the ceremony. This is easy for Dong-gut, so he's fine with it. While signing the contract, Dong got confused about who was appointed to be the ambassador of Dongdo today with him. As soon as the sound stopped, a voice more familiar than the fish preparation method appeared. Dong-gut also wants to deny reality. But her aunt is already standing right here. Young man Bat, as someone who will have a good feeling, Uncle Kim might have misunderstood this word a bit. Ko began firing off a deafening burst of rapid explanations about why she arrived more than an hour early to save face. Before that, Dong-gut had a hunch, but who could have guessed? And unexpectedly, Jeonsu also showed up. Turns out she was also chosen as the ambassador of Dongdo. Since everyone is present, let's proceed with the appointment ceremony for the ambassador immediately. Next, all three took a photo together. As soon as she took down the picture frame, Babat started lamenting to the heavens and blaming the earth. Bidonsu also felt hot and tired after shooting for 30 minutes. Suddenly, the aunt pressed the cold water bottle against the girl's cheek, startling her. This senior is sharp-tongued but kind-hearted, leaving some iced water bottles for the kids. Ignoring the hot topic for a moment, Batsu Don heard that this kid plans to join an independent film project. Don-su was also surprised. He didn't expect the rumor to spread so quickly. However, repeated reminders from the senior emphasized that the child should choose carefully, especially independent film projects, as they are not as beautiful as their names, and the production environment is very different from regular scripts. Strangely enough, that's why Dong-gut likes it. If it were easy, there'd be no fun in it. The boy's arrogant attitude left her helpless. It's just like you back then. Baek-su-don reminded not to catch the artistic disease like someone. There will be no cure for it. Then they talked while walking and arrived at the market. Just got to the gate and saw a few people hanging banners. The girl turned red with embarrassment, not expecting to be welcomed like this in front of the other two ambassadors. After that, actor Bat was swarmed by people asking for autographs while Don-soo followed the crowd inside. This is the final location of their ambassadorial photo series. The photographer suggested that all three ambassadors hold up the fish for a photo, making the fish bowl glow green across their faces. Ko moved closer to Donggut, exuding an overwhelming aura to avoid being captured. The boy quickly ran to the vegetable vendor to borrow a fish. All three lined up together for a photo. But with this scene and the people eagerly awaiting Gutki, this is the place he never visited in his previous life. The feeling now is like reuniting with family after a long time, and here they welcome you. If there was a previous life, you would never know this feeling. About to take the shot, the fish started flapping wildly. Water splashed all over Don-soo. Then that familiar feeling suddenly came rushing back. Did you slap the most unwanted guy across the face? She just had bad luck, forget about it. The ambassador Dongdo declared, shouting, "Don't dream that I'll come here again." A few weeks later, it was time to start filming the independent project Donggut had accepted. Because they are amateurs from the film school, they are struggling quite a bit with the lighting setup. Fortunately, Choi knows a bit more than others. Other people saw the young actor Kim Ha-chin from the hit movie August Boy and immediately came to ask about him. Indeed, although the August Boy has ended, its echoes remain strong. The independent film soon gained traction after its release. The director is Choi Tae-seo, a college student just starting out. The meaning of independent in the film industry is quite broad. It's not like profit-making movies but rather a simple way to make a name for the film. They screen it to the audience without any advertising. Or profit. However, as Baek Soo-don said, some say it's just a simple video shot by a beginner who caught the art bug. Moreover, this trainee film crew is truly chaotic. It seems these people are not professionals, so no one wants to risk their career for an independent film. And strangely, the most experienced person in this team is Donggut. Just a kid, oh my god. In the end, since you made the choice, you have to help things go smoothly. Not like you always act so knowledgeable because it won't be good to show too much in the second life, but if you leave it as is, it'll go off the rails. Everyone was curious about where Donggut studied, but he didn't let them know. He gave a pretty reasonable excuse that all he knew were the terms the director used repeatedly. Just in time, Tae-seo rushed in to announce there were 30 minutes left to finish on time. No director has ever struggled like this. 30 minutes later, scene 21 of Treekwon at the police station began. The police officer questioned Treekwon Bo, "Aren't you going to state your name, or are you just going to sit there silently?" He kept holding onto the bag, so the police thought it was stolen. More than anything, this brat has no idea how terrifying the world can be, yet he keeps resisting. How many times has it caused trouble here to the point that everyone is annoyed? Treekwon remained silent, and the police officer continued to intimidate. "If you want to get arrested, shut up and sit still." At that moment, the other person snatched his necklace. The boy fiercely resisted trying to take it back, but this cop was very shameless. He read all the information on the card and knew that Treekwon was an orphan, so he was naturally certain of the reason for the theft. Suddenly, his colleague came calling, so Treekwon seized the opportunity to snatch back the rope. The newcomer seems gentler and more soft-spoken when inquiring about the official. He tried to get the boy to open up and say something so he could help. In the end, the little boy remained silent. Next, he immediately called the police in Seoul to identify this kid. The result was that he heard something he could hardly believe, because Kim Ji-gwan was presumed dead last year. And this name tag belongs to my close friend named Choi Kwan. Dia Chi Kwan is a story about friendship, and even after reading it several times, Donggut still hasn't fully grasped the feelings of the main character, who wants to be called Treekwon. How would it feel to live under the name of a dead friend, and what does he think when people call him by that name? The feeling of friendship opens up many things in the heart of Donggut. When you became famous with both fame and status in the acting world, dozens of people approached you for money, but no one truly allowed you to reveal your deepest emotions. Of course, he didn't blame them. At that time, there were also seniors taking care of Donggut, but no one could understand because back then, Gut was just a madman wanting to see the end of the performance. Even though it's small and uncertain, it's not completely unclear. Just at that moment, the friend who had previously invited Gut to play soccer after lunch was once again bluntly rejected by the young actor. My best friend wanted to blame Gut for burying myself in scripts these days, but he got cut off mid-sentence. The girls all cared for the talented boy in the class. Small just left, and that half-dead friend crawled up. The reason is that the movie yesterday mentioned Kim Ha-chin likes milk coffee, so these past few days Donggut has been receiving only orders. When your friend is eagerly trying to invite you to play soccer, the teacher shows up. The thing is, because Gut needs 15 days off for filming, the teacher is now informing you that the principal has given special approval. After all, you are the ambassador for Dongdo. But the teacher also warned not to skip all the classes. You must attend the entire morning session before going to the filming, and be careful not to fail the final exam. In the end, Ong Lobo Trang rang while it knew how to respond very well. Afterward, Gut revealed that the independent film he starred in would be shown at a small theater in Seoul. If that's the case, the teacher can't see it, so he got really mad. More than anything, Ong and Mr. Kim wonder if the small job is done out of passion or something else. Put that aside for now, Gut really has something to ask. The young man asked about a friend, making the teacher feel like he was lost in space. Even so, the teacher was still thinking very seriously. Then she started talking about a very close friend from her youth who had moved to Seoul a decade ago, and a few years back she heard some bad news. At that time, the teacher immediately went to the funeral home in Seoul to inquire, and found the portrait of a 15-year-old friend from his childhood memories. It made him regret not calling you sooner to at least know the situation. Who would have thought, before I could finish, 2 kids from class Gut were already lurking at the door, wanting you to come out and play soccer. They refused to play without Gut because they bet with class 7. If that's the case, just let it go. Knew that Kao No would win because of its strong nature, but the teacher needed to say this. A friend is someone a brother can never forget. Got it, teacher. A few days after the calamity struck the team of officials. Actually, it's just these guys' own misfortune for having to ride on the bumpy local vehicle. The mayor is the driver you were all shouting at so loudly that Donggut had to raise his voice to ask. A young man among them saw that there was no guardrail on the curve ahead, so he suggested stopping the car. The mayor didn't quite understand Seon's accent, so he asked Donggut to interpret for him. The area over there did have a protective fence before, but now people come here without slowing down, so when they descend from Sanbot, they just keep crashing into it, and it's gone. The whole group felt like the mayor was in a lot of trouble. He even said that from what he knew, since the railing was lost, there haven't been any more accidents because people are scared and slow down now. The whole group screamed in their souls, "Please let me down." As soon as they arrived, everyone started looking for Choi Hai. The assistant who came with Tai Seo finally calmed down and asked if you had chosen the filming location yet. Looking at his face, you can tell he's exhausted, but luckily Tai Seo made the right choice. Our little Donggut is as strong as an ox, urging everyone to hurry up. That's just because she didn't meet Hugh, otherwise all her energy would have vanished. But they have to climb all the way up there, that's the problem. They really want to hear Donggut say that the kid was just joking. The old lady walking next to them told Gut to take care of the 2 men, as they couldn't even handle it themselves. The old lady here is healthier than 2 young men, making the boys want to die already. A few hours later, both of them managed to drag themselves up in a dazed state, so they asked Donggut to inform Tai Seo that they had finished packing the equipment. The mail carrier kid is very efficient. But what's he doing? Just at this moment, Tae-seo noticed someone approaching, so he withdrew his hand and went towards Donggut. Curiosity began to awaken in Gut. Next, scene 57, police and magistrate on Sanbot Road begin. The police officer reassured the boy not to worry, and just come over to eat because he wouldn't ask any more questions about his personal story. This uncle is really eager to feed the little boy. Then he remembered a secret tip that pretended to eat, but unexpectedly she was afraid of being taken away, so she quickly ate for real. Tri-Kwan devoured pitifully. Facing all the questions during the meal, Ji-Guan kept clutching the bag and silently chewing. The cop assured the little boy that he wouldn't take it, so just eat. But he also forbade the boy from sneaking out. Because Tri-Kwan is currently homeless, and this place is very high, with difficult roads. The kind man fried another egg for Tri-Kwan, and he suggested that tomorrow they go to the cliff where the boy wants to go together tomorrow. Repaying the officer's efforts and kindness was a thank you from the homeless boy. The moment he got a call from the agency saying he must be crazy to bring that child home. But with all the kindness before becoming a police officer, he was sure he wouldn't let the boy sleep on the cell floor, and more importantly, it would be very easy for him to escape when everyone was careless. On the other hand, the officer felt the boy wasn't as bad as his colleagues had said. He started going outside to breathe the fresh air as a habit whenever he needed to think. Somehow that child had so many stories to tell. Next is scene 77. Song-tae climbed the fence on the rock ledge. That is his real name alongside the given name of his late friend. Song-tae climbed over the fence and looked at the deep cold of the sea's surface. Right at that moment, the police officer arrived just in time to stop the boy from doing something crazy. He tried to make No understand that her friend in heaven with God wouldn't be happy if something happened to Song-tae. But right now, No has completely lost her mind, and the boy is determined to make Tri-Kwan see her. Due to the high tide, the waves crashed against the railing, startling No. The body lost its balance, about to fall, but luckily there was a police officer nearby. He was fuming and scolding the child, saying your friend must be really angry and wouldn't want you to do anything reckless, so stop and go see your parents. But Song-tae is really upset. Tri-Kwan died without even getting to see his mother. Tri-Kwan said that when he was in the hospital, he wished he could go back to the cliff in Busan, where we took a picture when I was a child. Today is his birthday, so Song-tae wants to give Tri-Kwan a birthday present. No matter how much he tried to stop him, the only thing on his mind was that if tonight ends, his birthday would end too. Both sides engaged in an intense struggle. In the end, the boy became helpless. Powerless because I'm too weak to give you a gift. Powerless because, after all, Song-tae has lived without senses. He cried and tearfully questioned his uncle why his friend was still 14, a question no one wants to answer because it's too cruel. Treekwon's birthday has passed, he's still 14, and Song-tae is now a year older. On the same day, after finishing their shooting schedule, they headed to the cliff to drink. By the way, I was a bit curious why this beach rock area is often blocked. Local people all know that they have been doing this for centuries. Several years ago, in some areas here, the water used to flow uncontrollably, but then suddenly the water stopped flowing. The committee banned them because most people who go there are very dangerous or even fall to their deaths. What's even more curious is how Choi knew about this place. In his past life, even in Dongdo, Donggut had no clue about it. After that, seeing Chongseot just kept drinking without eating, she advised him to quickly eat some sea urchin, otherwise, why come to Busan? Seeing the photo, Tunien was determined to go to Busan and try his luck. Donggut immediately rushed to stop him. He advised him that if he keeps trying, one day he'll see the light at the end of the tunnel, and Senior Song will become a hugely famous actor. Although Donggut's thoughts as an actor changed a bit when doing an independent film, it was indeed a bit rash to speak so quickly. Then they started asking a child for their opinion on their future. Donggut knew well that in his previous life, Choi was a famous screenwriter, making even renowned actors bow their heads in admiration. So No told An that he should be a screenwriter rather than a director, and Taeseo agreed because in this film, he meticulously crafted everything with the goal of gaining a bit of fame through the movie before dedicating the rest of his life to screenwriting. Donggut is still unsure of the reason. It is a bit hard to explain like this, so really wants to capture the moments he has seen. Right then, Gut had something to ask. It's about the final scene. You really think Song-tae would do whatever it takes to reach the cliff? In reality, it's quite difficult because there are barriers, but since this is a movie, it can be made a bit unrealistic, right? Taeseo agreed. However, he still wanted an image that could become the most authentic Chikwon possible. If Soo-kyung hadn't held on to Song-tae at that moment, he would have died on the cliff, and Treekwon would be heartbroken in heaven. Turns out Donggut understands part of his intention. Just about to say more, but Mr. Song interrupted to announce that the boss will treat them to a party at the dock today. Who is the traitor boss, I wonder? The pier at Dongdo is a stunning spot to savor food and drink. The mayor you mentioned is actually the businessman in your mouth. Tonight he knows the kids have finished filming, so let loose and have fun. Then he gently reminded Taeseo to come over and raise a glass in celebration instead of drinking alone. He began to stand up and gave a brief speech to share with everyone how he had managed to relieve his worries when he went to Busan. He met incredibly valuable people like Chu Chu Baun, and the script was written like an old story that was successfully filmed. At this moment, Donggut finally realized a few things. Junsu's speech hasn't ended yet. He's grateful that since the film was self-produced, the team had to rent a lot of props to get beautiful shots, and he couldn't cover all the costs without help from his colleagues. Some comrades don't like the way Taeseo talks, since when have they worked together just for money? Ignoring his friend, the deepest gratitude Taeseo needed to express was to actor Donggut, who decided to take the role without asking for a single penny. Everyone here was shocked when the kid performed without any pay. Donggut tried to explain that he was so captivated by the script that he couldn't refuse, so even though CIO was a bit disappointed, he was still very happy to become an actor in that film. If he feels guilty, it's okay as long as other scenarios work out. Before toasting, he wanted the brothers to meet someone. This person allowed and facilitated the film's existence. And also his teacher when he was young. The mayor suddenly recognized this person. That is Kim Son-kyung. Both greeted each other warmly, reminiscing about the days when they used to play in the rain without a care. And the quick-thinking mayor promptly introduced this person as Sun Ki-eung, who once lived in the house on Sanbot Street where they filmed, and now he is the inspector. Donggut suddenly realized that his name was the same as the police officer in the movie. He seemed to care a lot about Taeseo. That was to be expected because before, Taeseo had received a lot of soy sauce and rice from the master's house, so now he was returning the favor. It turns out this story is Taeseo's, not something woven by imagination. Also, why is the house on Sanbot Street so clean? And with the reason he knew about the rock outcropping in the remote area of Dongdo, they finished their conversation, and the inspector turned to greet the child actor of the crew. It's surprising to meet two real-life characters from Dia Treekwon again, isn't it? The whole pier was bustling that day due to the reunion. A few days later, Donggut had to face the nightmare of trying on clothes. Little had to try on a dozen outfits and felt exhausted. Add Bakobat, who insisted on paying out of her own pocket and forced him to choose clothes like crazy. Seems like she's possessed, acting like Ha-chin's mom or something, keeping a tight grip on the kid. Suddenly, the incident at the design shop with actress Bat became strangely obvious, because they have to attend the wrap party just as the show's broadcast ends. Do you think picking out clothes like this is a bit too much? Instead, it's better to spend time reading another script. Better double-check with Donggut to see if Bayet, the child actor, needs to attend the rap party. Usually not necessary, but this girl's case is different, okay? Finally, after choosing over and over, she found something she liked. Her attitude is often sharp, but her fashion sense is pretty on point. Then the guy got into the car and left before he was mentally prepared. You wonder how famous the August boy is that everything changes so much. Even more surprising is that the wrap-up party even rented the hotel's banquet hall. Donggut has reached his time to shine but forgot something. Mini-series August Boy doesn't feel like just a 16-episode drama, and during that time, many other shows were competing simultaneously. But Donggut achieved a result of up to 37.8% viewership with just the last 2 episodes. In this life, Donggut has turned the film into a resounding success. The director Do also became more famous than ever, and the enthusiasm of fans and the press for the child actor of the August Boy was especially overwhelming. At the party, Donggut was busy fixing his hair as everyone kept ruffling it, making it all messy. Sir Saio was busy running around. Donggut looked around to see if Dongsu was coming, but as soon as he leaned forward slightly, he bumped into some lady. You quickly apologized to Sunbae for standing up without looking, but the attitude of the other person didn't seem very good. This lady is the main female character of the August Boy. Durin, when he grows up, she openly despises the kid because he dared to call someone else a senior after just a little acting. The blatant mockery, but for someone who has been performing for years like that woman, it doesn't affect her. That lady has the right to be smug because she's the new star, one of the main characters in the movie. Around this time in his past life, Jung Min-chan wouldn't last long in the entertainment industry due to numerous tax evasion scandals and a controversial past. And what pushed everything to the front page was something else. Looking at her now, her character is already rotten enough, so just let it be. Just got my plate of food and ran into Mr. Kim. He sincerely apologizes for the slight mess today. 2 people started talking about the independent film you shot in Dongdo, and he along with director Choi is confident they will push the movie to the film festival. That is an ideal place for it to grow. It doesn't matter whether they win the award or not, but that person worked really hard to make the movie, and even Choi Taeseo used his own story the same way. Just at that moment Mr. Kim asked, "Where is actor Bat?" "She's right over there." It seems something went wrong when that woman Jang burst out laughing, and the complexion of Miss Bat became worse. Fast withdrawal symptoms, run to me, Ha-jin. But just a few steps later, the loud, shrill voice of that early rising star rang out sharply. She looked down on the boy for being a market vendor and even insulted Donggut's parents. Actors who leave their brains at home will inevitably be eliminated sooner or later. Mom's face was like she was ready to punch on the spot, but the boy quickly interrupted, saying she left her medicine box in the car. Then said the head hurt a bit and the nose was a little runny. The boy's gaze puzzled the loudmouth Jiang. Song calmly reminded her, "There's white powder on your shirt." Clearly the thief met his match, so she quickly ran into the bathroom. We have to admit that everything that person does is so natural. Thieves really have to learn to be quick and agile. They then said goodbye to that inedible party and went for some grilled meat. Donggut can't believe they actually seem to like this simple place. In a past life, Gut only attended rap parties just to make an appearance. Now No can fully enjoy events like this. Director Do began to stand up and speak. Despite the competition from many other films and a few incidents, the whole team successfully completed the film. In short, Do just wants to say one thing. From the production staff, until each actor, and screenwriter Choi, the person who wrote the masterpiece August Boy, as well as other supporting items that contributed to the film. Do wants to express infinite gratitude to everyone. Taking the opportunity, Do teased, "Why not sing at the award ceremony instead of just giving thanks? If you can't sing, let Donggut do it better. The guys next to me work so fast, they've already made that homemade jackfruit. Alright, let's go wild now, man." The part where Bakojiang also joined the drinking, but has been hiding in the bathroom for a while now, just stepped outside and immediately got tripped. Immediately Ko stumbled and fell. That's the consequence. The lady next to her gently asked if Jiang wanted to help. With her swollen leg, it was strange she refused help. The reaction was pure terror. Right at that moment, her head was grabbed tightly. Who said that being drunk meant ignoring the consequences? Told you that your senior wants to help, so how could you refuse? Mother Ha-jin is avenging her child. The brightest flame burns the fastest, especially when it's just talk, so don't say what you can't take responsibility for. Mind your tongue, Miss Jang. Bobat here is not someone to mess with. And if anyone dares to mess with her, they're just looking for trouble. The mad dog came out barking straight at that Jiang girl, calling her a bitch. On the other side, this man is looking for an actor who can perform like Charlie Chaplin, the Korean version. Can an actor with no formal training still bring authenticity to the audience? And the movie they are watching is Dia Tri Kwan. The assistant noticed that he had reviewed the award ceremony schedule many times, as if something was bothering him. Actually, he had some things to redo a new schedule because of the appearance of that budding flower. A few days later, Dong-gut received a fateful call. The independent film project Dia Tri Kwan was selected as the opening feature of the BIFF International Film Festival. Mr. Kim quickly explained over the phone about the process of getting information from director Choi Tae-seo, and the reason why they had to go through Mr. Kim first, because they couldn't reach Dong-gut. Seeing that the boy is now famous and starting to make a name for himself, not having a mobile phone to stay in touch is too inconvenient, so he suggested giving him one. The incredible thing now is that the film was chosen to open the festival. Even in a previous life, no matter the awards, films Dong-gut starred in were never selected for any opening or closing ceremonies. The next breaking news is about director by Ek Chang-hoon. At that time, there were many prominent directors in Korea, and alongside it was the Academy Awards, one of the most anticipated awards in Hollywood, including Bai Do. And in the future, a director who has won 3 gold awards. That made everyone suspicious of the man, because it was clear that for over 50 years, Han had been left behind by the film industry, so how could that have happened? You could say that Chang-hoon is one of the outstanding directors and a pioneer in developing the Ha film industry. When Dong-gut was still struggling with minor roles in his past life, he passed away and had no chance to meet him. His unexpected appearance made his heart pound like a festival drum. If you want to know the reason, you need to go back to a little before the end of film celebration. Mr. Bet, a fan of Chaplin, is captivated by him. In other words, when he watches Chaplin, he not only makes the audience laugh, but also evokes something more. He delivers profound messages through his body movements. And in Korea there are no actors like that. The comment from Mr. Bet made the boy really sad, even though he is a talented actor. But for him, the line between movies, theater, and television is so clear that it's rare for any actor to cross the boundaries of each genre. The assistant then came in and asked if the boss had reviewed the candidates for the opening film yet, but he wanted to take his time because none of the options were outstanding enough to start with. Because he was too bored with the recent movies, he casually asked his assistant about the box in his hand. Here are the movies for the independent film category. So to relieve his mood, Betbach picked up a book to take a look. Misfortune never comes alone, and this time it's tied to a notorious name. This movie was made by a recent graduate, so it wasn't highly regarded from the start. I heard this one is quite special because they hired a child actor as the main character. If that's the case, then based on experience, it will probably be like other series, a bi-style set that's quite challenging for people to embed deep meanings. Since it's an independent film, there are many limitations in the scenes to make up for the lack of budget. After all, they're just a bunch of kids fresh out of college. What is happening in front of him? Every expression, every glance, every movement is deeply imprinted in the battle-hardened eyes of the director. He wants to meet Dong-gut right now. At the award ceremony, when everyone was announced, the opening presentation and its director, who had no reputation at all, shocked the reporters. Some of them asked around and found out that the director of the movie had graduated just a year ago, so this was his first film, and moreover, it was an independent one. They can't believe the judge this time might be off, letting an indie film kick things off. The news that director Bet will serve as a judge is shocking enough, but then finding out that the nominee for the film's actor is a child actor adds even more surprise. This boy is currently very popular with the miniseries produced by KBS August Boy. At this moment, a very special horse named Bongo suddenly appeared on the carpet. It's completely different in a unique Bin Duong style. The guard was still clueless when Dong-gut slipped down and thanked the mayor for the ride. Even director Choi is behind us, but luckily they didn't find Hai today. The trio today includes director Choi, Dong-gut, and actor Song, but only Dong-gut is familiar with the flashlights. Uncle Song was so in sync that he was left speechless. He knew he shouldn't laugh, but he couldn't help it when he remembered Senior Song from his previous life. And Antesio is gone instantly. When stepping onto the red carpet, the young director was immediately bombarded with a barrage of tough questions from reporters. Although Dong-gut knew he had to restrain himself, things might fall apart like this. So the boy confidently took Mit's hand to answer the reporters and relieve the pressure. While Senior Song has departed from this world, it was definitely the right decision to speak up at this moment. The kid stepped in for the director, answered the question, and started talking about Dia Tri Kwan. It's an incredibly meaningful film about childhood. If you remember the name of your childhood best friend, the movie will leave you with an exceptionally special feeling. Then, out of habit, Dong-gut accidentally said Taeso's line, "For those of you watching at home, please share your thoughts on the movie Dia Tri Kwan in one sentence." But he and Senior Song are still on cloud 9, so we have to let it go. For Dong-gut, you can feel it deep in your heart. So as a twin, you send your feelings of missing your friend to Trigwan, your friend in heaven. The end of the red carpet time for the trio was a bit rushed. Both giants were extremely grateful to the little one for saving them from a visible defeat. Then Dia Tri Kwan was screened as the opening of the film festival. Our main actor is incredibly excited to see their film on the big screen for the first time, alongside many famous people. The image of Inspector Song is vividly portrayed, and one of the most touching lines from Dong-gut left a deep impression. From a certain perspective, after stepping out of the role and reflecting on those tears, Dong-gut felt a deep sense of excitement. The movie ended with everyone clapping. This is the applause from everyone in the global film industry. This actor will certainly never forget this moment, because in the future this film will become a monument. The echo of it will be where An Choi, Senior Song, and Dong-gut begin. Now you're still in shock as everyone is turning their gaze here. Suddenly No felt a burning gaze. The observation was still very clear, even from the front row. That is definitely director Baek Chung-hoon. Even though they have never met, he is so famous that there's no mistaking that figure. In a hidden corner that you might have suspected, Tri Kwan is actually Choi Tae-seo's deceased friend. They have been playing together since they were very young, and most of their childhood was spent in the hospital. Clearly, he still remembers that he said he wanted to watch the movie written by him when it was released. And now that name will go down in history. My friend up there probably sees it too, right? Choi Tae-seo from that day borrowed your name, so if you're upset, come and talk it out. Even though they are separated by life and death, they made a promise. Even if he stopped at 14, in Choi Tae-seo's dream when he visited, it was their own little world. Noon Tae-seo wants to send his friend a message of gratitude, thanking him for leaving a lasting memory. People around the world will remember how gentle you were. And I'll do the same, pursuing the dream of becoming a screenwriter in Siyun again, until my name is etched in everyone's mind. Thanks again, Dong-gut. On the other hand, our young actor is currently going to meet Mr. Bate at his invitation. The boy has surprised him many times, and this time he recognizes him too. How could Dong-gut not know? This is the idol he admired even in his past life. He sipped his tea and got straight to the point. The admiration of Ngai Bet is very clear, because if you watch the video long enough, you will understand the value and ideas of the director, independent films, and a different path from industrial films, but the performance of Dong-gut has erased those prejudices. The director was shocked when the young man could control the audience so well, especially in the final scene where he had to swallow his scream as if it were a wave silently crashing down on everything. And with the keen eyes of someone with decades of experience, he wondered if he was watching a child actor perform. Is there someone else inside? Dong-gut felt a jolt of fear, almost as if he had been exposed. The sharpness of Mr. Bet's eyes was enough to leave people speechless. But at times like this, you have to play dumb and find a reasonable excuse to let it slide. Sure enough, he restrained the gaze that seemed to see through everything and wanted to ask something. Do you plan to study acting, young man, in a child's body? I don't know if he was joking or serious, but it was enough to make Dong-gut break out in a sweat. In reality, it's because the tourist season is approaching, so he wants to suggest that No goes to Seoul with him to learn acting. In the end, Dong-gut politely declined, wondering if his nephew didn't like the old man's house. Deep down, he felt uneasy and restless, mostly having to live with a top director in the South Korean film industry. However, under the direction of Bet, a man known as the fairy godfather of cinema, if it were in a previous life, you would follow him even if it meant putting your work aside. But in this life, it's different. You can't help with your mom's work during winter break, it's tough. So the small condition I want to put forward must be worth it, or rather, a fair exchange. Even as an actor or whatever, Dong-gut won't abandon his mother to chase after a career in this life. And that little boy promised his mother he would hold tightly to his own happiness, so Dong-gut's condition was to let him become a star under his guidance, not like a cameo. The boy's condition kept echoing in his ears, constantly worrying him. Even during tea time he couldn't focus. The person he's talking to is a grandchild who has been working with the director since childhood. The chatter about the past was a bit annoying as they were discussing Dong-gut. Actually, this person is also an actor that the director brought home to train and tried to improve their acting, but so far it hasn't worked. Sir Bet felt it was truly nostalgic. Right then, the other person asked about Dong-gut, whether that kid had the potential to be an actor. And actor Chun Hoin questioned the director, wondering if that kid was worth his attention. The old man exposed him, saying he's this grown up and still jealous. Song and Chun Hyun were both influenced by the director, so he was curious whether he or the child actor Dong-gut had more potential. A meaningless question if the child doesn't watch the movie that boy starred in at the film festival. Of course he watched it, which is why he's asking this question. Honestly, if Chun Hyun is a seed growing from the fertile soil of cinema, then that child is a seed in a barren land. That's how the director sees it. Besides that, Chun Hyun had reached the peak of brilliance, but no one knew how that child would grow up. And this director here likes a wildflower, never knowing when it might disappear. If he roots it deep enough, he will definitely turn it into a star in this movie by Baek Jung-hoon. More than ever, since director Bae began to be called a master of cinema, no one has dared to step forward with enough confidence. Except for this child. He is sure the boy will come here soon. A boy from the barren land will become the most radiant flower. For years he had been searching for someone like that. A child grows against all odds. At that time, Donggut had arrived at the fish market, and everyone gathered around as if a festival had begun. Of course, they had to gather here to celebrate Namhan's mother's new store opening. It's great that the store named after Mom and Youngmin has opened. All thanks to Kim for paying off the taxes and arranging transportation. Everyone also helped Mom open her shop like they did, without any jealousy or resentment. Everyone is grateful and appreciates the mother and daughter because thanks to them, Namhan Market has become famous. So they're here to check out the store with the mother and child before Donggut heads to Seon. You agreed to stay in Seon with director Bet during the winter break. This mother will always hold her son's hand whenever he pursues something for himself. She told her son to take good care of himself. People around them kept teasing the mother and child to keep them from feeling too sad about the separation. Donggut is very grateful to everyone here, and he promises that even if he becomes an actor, he won't forget this Namhan fish market. Not long after, the young child actor became more famous than ever, as people could recognize his face wherever he went. Little had to push her way through to reach her mother's stall to help, but she turned out to be able to do everything herself. Now Gut realizes that her mother is not only great at business but also skilled at preparing fish. Because there were many people around her mom, the child actor felt much more relieved. Donggut promised to return soon. Time flies and the winter break has finally arrived. The place where Donggut arrived was the old-style house of director Bet. As soon as you entered, the assistant made you a warm cup of ginger tea. Just took a few sips when Bet arrived. The man behind chuckled, wondering if Donggut knew who this guy was. This is An Chung-Huin. Who else could it be, since he was one of the first to start an acting career in Korean films? No doubt when saying An Chung-hyung is the senior of Song Chung-seot. Even famous actors, including Donggut, have used your videos as study material. But after director Baek passed away in his previous life, An Jung-hyung suddenly announced he was quitting his career, and now Donggut is standing in their timeline before that event happened. If it were in the position of the previous life, that would be impossible. He couldn't believe he was standing alongside two legends of that smokeless industry. Un Jung-hyun was extremely lenient with Donggut, so he overlooked the boy's mistake, forgetting to greet him because he was too surprised. But where else did he hear about you? Then An Chung started the introduction to see if the kid knew anything about the careers of those who are currently trending in the industry like him. Who would have thought she would chatter away, even talking about the first movie An Chung-huin worked on with director Bet. It's a very hard-to-get movie and strictly off-limits for minors. Hyo-hyun Donggut. The famous actor revealed that all the praise and information about Donggut were mentioned by the director Do. He mentioned the kid once while drinking at a street stall with An Chung-huin, saying he saw a version of Chung-huin while reading the script. Donggut hadn't considered that a director would say that, but to break the young director's surprise, he also started a conversation, reminding the boy to ask if he had called Mr. Kim yet. He already called Mr. Kim before coming here because he was worried that Guthan Thuong might make a mistake when meeting a famous director. But there's nothing wrong. Getting to this point made Ong feel much more energetic, didn't it? This made An Chung-hyung wonder if he had a grandson behind his back. Later that evening, Donggut was given a change of clothes prepared by Ong for bed. Just stepped outside and saw him sitting there gazing at the moon. Seems like neither of them could sleep. Donggut chews on a few grains of the chinko seeds that Mr. Dua handed him while watching the first snowfall. Both the grandfather and grandson started talking about acting. For Donggut, acting is an adventure. He's been acting his whole life, but it's the first time he's heard such a perspective. Acting is a way to become an actor, so he thinks it's a journey. It will stretch like an endless hallway to the point where even Donggut never wants to see the end. This boy is different, not looking for the end point of acting. To put joy and life's emotions above the lines, that's the way to become an actor. Understanding the boy's perspective, the director handed Donggut a script to read. All of it was handwritten, so Donggut guessed it was the old script. But things aren't that simple. You looked at him in shock to make sure you weren't seeing things. The director's smile was full of meaning. This is the script he has cherished and been most excited about for a long time. Donggut was completely terrified by this scenario, which in his previous life was only revealed when Ngai Bet was lost. In other words, the old script was entirely the answer to the conditions set by Donggut. It seems unrealistic and the age doesn't match. The director knows well because the main character is a young man. That's why he said, if Donggut wants to continue acting, he can become the main character in the script. So are you interested in Donggut? If not, it would be a lie because you've always wanted to work with director Baek throughout your past life. Finally, the creator of these veteran films is eagerly anticipating this winter vacation of Donggut. The next day, Donggut turned a new page. Everything about him right now is still too hard to believe. This month will mark a new beginning for this life. Just stepped out of the elevator, Donggut ran into Mr. Kim. He cared for the boy like his own son, so he rushed over and hugged him immediately. The director Bet apologized to Mr. Kim for being so late, saying that the breakfast was too delicious and made him lose track of time. After warmly greeting each other, they went inside and were served the familiar ginger tea. If you drink as fast as Mr. Kim, It will definitely taste bitter and hot like this. Sitting in the middle of the elegant office, all three began their main work. The actors at Mr. Kim's company have been working with director Bayet for a long time already, and he is a director with an extremely professional work ethic. Above all, Mr. Bet has given high praise to Mr. Kim's protégés, who are all excellent, likely because the director has a kind heart. Now let's get to the main point. The director Bet wants Donggut to be the cameo for the job he is preparing. The boy himself didn't expect to become cameo. He will be the one to choose the audition roles, including the lead. But just because there's great acting potential doesn't mean Donggut is automatically selected. He must have found the right actor who fits the desired image among thousands of candidates already. That is why there is a rumor in Youngmo that to become a star from a script and the work of director Byte, you must be blessed by God. And he is currently expressing interest in Donggut. Of course, even if you wanted to perform for 10 days straight, he would still do it. Now how should you respond properly? Catmeo is an extremely poetic noun. In other words, it can be implicitly understood as a scene stealer. Wherever there's a celebrity, it doesn't need to be an actor. You only need to appear in the scene when the audience least expects it, and if those scenes aren't prearranged in the script, then you're already a great actor. The impromptu performance made him extremely excited about Mr. Bet's proposal. Just as expected, talking to Donggut made Ongbet find it quite interesting. After the discussion, Mr. Kim breathed a sigh of relief, as he had been so worried that his neck hurt. When Donggut was about to leave, Mr. Kim had something to say. He smiled awkwardly, wanting to ask the little guy if he thought they should put acting on hold for 3 years. Of course, you were immediately startled because Kim said so. In fact, it's nothing because the time of being a student will pass and never come back, so Kim wants you to enjoy that precious time. The truth is, Donggut can't remember how he studied in school in his past life. Middle school and high school weren't even worth mentioning. In college, when everyone else was having fun, you always had to devote your time to scripts and acting. Donggut felt very warm, thankful to the director for reminding him of something he had forgotten in a past life. And the next surprise location is at Hangyeong University. Even scarier, this is Donggut's old school. All he remembers from his school days are just bits and pieces, and suddenly, here he is again. Little Tam's mind was in turmoil when Mr. Bet asked if he had ever been here. How could he possibly maintain a calm facade in front of someone so sharp? There is one thing Donggut still wonders. Why did they come here? The director's smile, faintly visible on his time-worn face, simply stemmed from wondering if there was someone suitable for the minor roles and wanting to assess Cameo's qualifications. Donggut had no idea what he was talking about. Then he was led into the lecture hall, and of course everyone recognized the August boy and the geography expert. Donggut understood them well. Naturally, if a kid was sitting in the hall, they would be curious. At this moment, Mr. Bet was standing at the podium and giving a speech. Today is a special lecture with only one session in the course designed for film enthusiasts. The sound of his voice still filled the room without needing a mic, and his aura immediately drew attention. Donggut recognized this as the result of experience and wisdom. Then Bet asked everyone a question. If a director's ability is based on creativity, what about the actors? It is indeed a renowned university for acting, everyone answered correctly. But after spending a lifetime on set, director Bayek believes the most important thing for an actor is not to lose composure. And now in his hands is a stack of scripts. Mr. Bate is a director who enjoys the adventure genre. As a producer, an acting career is not important and not a necessary factor for a director, because they don't just demand brilliance and originality from actors, but a completely new actor. At the same time, the scene he's holding in his hand was recently prepared by the director himself. It's not a cameo role because someone has already played it. So, if there's anyone here confident enough to perform, he'll let them take the role without hesitation. The entire lecture hall enthusiastically volunteered to try acting. Now Donggut understands. The statement that he said about who would be suitable for that role before coming in here is because he wants to recruit students. So what if he says he wants to see Kameo's character? That's about to be revealed in what he says next. That is a person who performs together to help the actors on this stage perform at their best. And that cat was none other than Donggut. The factor he needs is adaptability, and this talented actor has now inherited a lot from what the past has left behind. The calmness of the boy yet to be discovered intrigued Mr. Bate. Solid rubber grip in hand, and immediately he immersed himself in the character, a rough and rude guy. Donggut's role is currently that of a character contrasting. The way a cameo acts is challenging because there's no detailed script. The only thing written on the script is the expression and the manner of acting. But Donggut is really doing well. The first student hasn't caught up with his lead. Poor guy, he feels like he's going to be swallowed whole by this high school kid. The entire room fell silent after the high school boy's line. You sincerely thank him for giving you this opportunity. How should I put it? Donggut, although he likes student life, feels happy acting, and he guesses this might be a natural talent. Dong-gut speeds up the tempo of the performance to the point that even students who have the script find it hard to act. A high school kid truly makes everyone feel the pressure like a talented director on the rise. Sometimes they even forgot the boy's age. All the students, witnessing that masterful demonstration for the first time, were left speechless. The kid's voice was loud and demanding, questioning those around as if he was older and more experienced. Students sharing the stage didn't dare utter a word. Like, this guy is trying hard to control his acting in front of Mr. Bet and that little kid. But out of fear, he dropped the script. Dong-gut picked it up and dropped the act. Now he's back to being an incredibly cute junior. From the perspective of director Bet, this is not just ordinary talent, but more than a rough diamond. Just started acting, yet it's already so perfect. How could it be possible? And this stirred up a few storms in Bet's heart. He wants to find out all the potential of this child immediately. Then he went to see Dong-gut and said he would introduce someone to help you prepare for the role of cameo. Curiosity overwhelmed Dong-gut as he wondered what the director wanted him to perform and introduce to whom. A few days after the winter break had been tinted with the white of snow, Dong-gut quickly followed the director to the set and blended in right away. Everyone in the group thought that Bet got married late and had a little boy. However, although Do likes the child, the director is still concerned about whether the kid has acted in many movies before. Honestly, he didn't mean to make the kid a hindrance. No matter who it is, director Do will make them more impressive. And more importantly, Bet isn't the type to bother with ordinary people. The director Do had never experienced this strange feeling since the child started filming. When the two arrived here 2 weeks ago, Ngai Do wondered if any young squirrel would go along with Lao Ho and worried that the movie might be a bit harsh for the kid. However, this child does not seem to have that emotion, and he appears to stand out more brightly among the crowd. Generally speaking, he really knows how to take care of and make the team feel comfortable. The boy gave everyone honey water to soothe their throats and even prepared hand warmers for their cold hands. The director Bet also had an inkling of this. Usually, actors without much experience are often busy preparing thoroughly for the shoot. That said, the boy Dong-gut was an exception, confidently stepping onto the set as if it were his home and showing interest in the staff. Song, the director, is curious if the senior has already planned to use that child for the role, right? He wasn't doubting them, but he worried whether they could recreate a traditional epic. Since the boy is just a child, someone else needs to do the voiceover, and because he's known the senior for a long time, this Uncle Do knows very well that it's not the version the famous director wanted to pursue. If you're worried about that, no need. Bong Deotsu has already given permission. Bong Deotsu is a senior in the traditional arts community. Just mention Cao Cao, and here he comes. The voice of Ngai Bong attracts attention from Dong-gut, and it turns out he was visiting his little student. He taught Dong-gut how to keep his voice and how to sing correctly. At the same time, due to the little one's talent, Bong transformed into Bong Kwang Dong-gut. If given the chance, he would rather train the little one to be a singer instead of an actor. But the brown bear behind is too scary, so he passed on the idea. This is also the person Mr. Bet wants to introduce to Dong-gut to help prepare for the role of cameo. Right after the day at the university, they went to Mi-jong-do and Dong-guk, who were specially trained by one of the master singers Bong Deotsu for 2 weeks. At first, when he found out that the role of cameo wasn't just a regular one, but that of a child who could sing traditional songs, he was quite surprised. It seemed like a coincidence. Because in a previous life, Dong-gut had performed in many musicals, so he learned how to project his voice and also picked up some traditional performance techniques from long ago. And he believes that having more than one skill would be an advantage over others, so he has invested his passion. Among them, when he looked into it, one of the most famous singers Bong Dut-do was the most impressive. So you answered all the endless questions about whether you wanted to be a singer or not. Perhaps Dong-gut's singing voice was refined in a previous life, and even though he has been praised countless times for his beautiful singing, he never intended to develop it to this level. Back in the studio, Mr. Bet was quite surprised because the teacher had arrived, despite his strong dislike for appearing in any cut scenes. Dong-gut sensed that there seemed to be some underlying animosity between these two. Will Dong-gut know what they will do during today's filming? You thought for a moment about the teacher's question. Based on the position of the sun, it seems that sunlight will come from the right, so it would be more ideal to have the camera shoot from the left. And the last thing Mr. Bet wants at Dong-gut today is to act like a scene outside, even if there are external noises. He laughed excitedly, full of pride when talking to his grandchild, who always kept up. And it seems like Dong-gut isn't the only one excited about finding something cool. Even Dong-gut felt a bit nervous. Look at the boy's expression, Mr. Bet reassured. Don't be nervous at all because if this old man believes in you and gives you the role, it means you have the ability. Suddenly he became nervous, making it hard for Dong-gut to understand. Of course, since his enthusiasm seems like it will never run out at this point. Get ready for the show? Dong-gut, pinching his nose, grumbled to Bo. Do we really have to go this way? Unfortunately, that's what he wanted. Here, they can sing as much as they like for many to hear, but Donggut doesn't see anyone around. He reminded his beloved grandchild that just because there's no one around, doesn't mean there aren't ears listening to them, even though there are many crowds on the streets and in the forests. It's only a small part of nature. Look at that waterfall. It roars before it calms down, and the wind from the bird's wings has stopped beating. Everything around will now be the audience. Director Du struggled to keep up with Director Bet's thought process while filming. Cameo appeared suddenly and inserted itself right into the middle of the movie for no apparent reason, leaving everyone wondering about its impact. He's sure Director Bet already knew this scene would turn out to be nothing, so all the effort is pointless. The sound of drums echoed. Now the two of them can have some fun in the mountains. Suddenly Director Du realized it. A boy radiates a full sense of grandeur in nature, from his voice to his demeanor.